Greetings, fellow Amblemites. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Since Steven Spielberg doesn't do audio commentary on his own work, we thought we'd do it for him. After all he's done for us, it's the least we could do for him. It's the penultimate installment before we hit the end of Spielberg's massive film catalog. It's an event so exciting, it will have you dancing in the street, featuring films guaranteed to get glowing reviews in the post. With any luck, you'll love our selections as much as Marie Schrader loves the color purple. Let's walk down the long and winding path Amblin set us down upon with Spielberg Month. All right, color purple. Dragon, I want that purple stuff, bro. Jesus, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of definitively have this in my top 5 Spielberg right now. The way I kind of view it is, for me personally, this has the perfect Venn diagram of like the whimsical Spielberg of the 80s and the late 70s, and also the kind of harsher and grittier Spielberg that he would go on to do. And Dragon, this is like the perfect middle ground, man. This is a perfect fucking movie as far as I'm concerned. Right now, the only ones I have above it, as far as like being in my top 5, it's pretty much the Holy Trinity. It's Jaws, Jurassic Park, E.T. I would rank those films above this. But this is probably the quintessential Spielberg drama, in my opinion. I mean, I love the hell out of this movie, man. I was thoroughly blown away by it.
Does Raiders not make the cut?
Raiders would probably be just outside of the top 5. I mean, Raiders is wonderful. Dragon, I'm telling you, I do think that a Spielberg ranking is in order once we get through all of these.
Well, that would actually make sense. You know, it would give us something to do during one of the
Spielberg months. Right. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And honestly, speaking of bridges, I might rank Temple of Doom over Raiders. Hot take. Anyways.
Well, I'm surprised with bridges. You might be thinking more Bridge of Spies, but okay.
Well, Bridges, Temple of Doom.
No, you're right. The other bridge. It's the whole. Oh my god.
So yeah, suffice to say, Dragon, I mean, this film it's fucking incredible. I went in not really knowing what to think. Of course, the 2 stars, Oprah and Whoopi, it's like they're mostly known as talk show hosts, Dragon. These women, it's like, they're great kind of iconic figures in their own right, but you don't necessarily, like Whoopi Goldberg, I think probably people think comedian first before they think serious actress.
Yeah.
And Oprah, obviously it's like the talk show host. But Dragon, holy mother of God, oh my God, the arcs, the characterization, the cinematography, the color palette, this movie is just, it's heartbreakingly beautiful, Dragon. I love it. I can't wait to get into it. Are you feeling similar vibes from it?
Yeah, so this is the first time I've seen The Color Purple. I had not seen it before. All I saw was basically what we saw of it in the Spielberg documentary on HBO. The whole I'll beat him, I'll kill him before the whole
That's like the most iconic scene. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that scene a couple times in like various places.
That's pretty much all we really we were talking about his regret with The Color Purple. Again, not regret over the movie, regret over one choice he made with the movie, which we'll get into. But regardless, yeah, I gotta tell you, I was a little worried about The Color Purple going into it thinking okay, it might be good, but I mean, obviously after the post, I was not that worried about it. But I'm just saying in general.
Oh God, the post is like, Dragon, this is our dessert after the vegetables that were the post, man.
Yeah, these are the chocolate coins, man.
Oh God.
But that's the thing. So I was a little worried about The Color Purple, just in terms of, okay, this feels like this might be kind of like I was not familiar with the book at all. I was like, this might just be more of like a kind of a historical piece, and just a reminder that it might be kind of like maybe the less. I was a part of me again now. I haven't seen the film. That opinion changed. It might be like the less compelling Amistad, perhaps. Is maybe what I was thinking. I'm not sure. But ultimately, this is so this was definitely a breakthrough film for Steven Spielberg.
Oh, absolutely.
In many ways, this is this is like the challenge to the blockbuster, filmmaker, the blockbuster signature style that Spielberg had cultivated up to this point, because the majority of his early work was like, oh my god, we gave this guy the camera, look what he did with it, oh my god. And so this is like him going more. This is him transitioning to kind of that kind of the Schindler's List, the Amistads, and the historical works. But this is the gateway drug, man. This opens the door for
absolutely.
This is the
and the fact that it's a gateway drug specifically, like it makes it a little bit more accessible than those other ones, and it still kind of has that magic attached to it, and that's what really draws me into this.
I mean, that's the biggest thing this movie, this big feather that this movie has in its cap, is that this is what got Spielberg to the heavy stuff, like the real heavy stuff.
Absolutely,
this is a very important. It's a very might be definitively because of that reason. It might be Spielberg's most underrated or overlooked film. We know it's overlooked in the terms of Hollywood for reasons we'll get to momentarily. But yeah, it's.
I mean, like I said, I would firmly put it in the top 5 over below the Holy Trinity for me. So
again, it's really I'm not thinking of the rankings right now, but it would probably be difficult to arrange them. Period, but it would be up there for sure. So overall, I think it's good. I really do. I do. It's here's the thing. It's I do feel and I sense. I will say this. I think it turned out great and does have like just swells of perfection throughout the movie. There's one section in particular that could have been a movie in itself. It's so darn compelling, and I love it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Pretty obvious what I'm getting at, but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going for it. I will say this though: this is not like a big knock against the movie; it's just kind of like a thing I feel about it. Looking back on this movie, especially on the rewatch, is like you do kind of feel, and I do kind of sense Spielberg is playing scared, adapting his first book. Well, not let me this way. I know I know Jaws is based on a book, so no one just don't jump.
Adapting his first historical drama. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let me put it this way: the pressure to it. There's pressure to adapt this versus like, hey, let's just do a movie about a giant shark. That's a little different.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
It's like, okay, well, change the ending. That's fine. Just make sure the shark eats somebody. It's like it's kind of like there weren't a lot of stakes in adapting Jaws. Just like get the flavor of like the good stuff that was in Jaws.
Sure.
Make it the Spielberg Jaws.
But no, you're right. There was there were a lot of stakes adapting an Alice Walker novel, and I imagine if any white man tried to direct a movie based on an Alice Walker novel in this current climate,
today he'd be crucified. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So
how dare you?
So you know what? It's like, but here's the thing, Dragon. We know that Spielberg, based on Schindler's List, it's like this man is not a stranger to oppression. You know what I mean? It's like. So, it was an unconventional choice at the time, but my God, it paid off.
So, I mean, overall, I think what I walk away with this movie is I think this is a movie about, enduring hardship and abuse. And I think there's symbolism with The Color Purple in itself with that. I like that. It's kind of like...
This movie is such a slow build to, what does the title mean?
So it's the slowest build to what is the title. But
I know. I love this.
It's kind of like, I don't even care why it's called The Color Purple.
Oh, I know. I was kind of the same way, yeah.
Okay, well, we start off with some purple flowers, and then we get later on, basically towards the very end of the movie, it's like, oh, that's the significance of the purple flowers.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think ultimately the best way to describe this movie, it's kind of like an intimate combination of Schindler's List and Empire of the Sun. It's kind of a mixture of those two. It's a little on the long side. Sophia definitely steals the show unequivocally, but it's a great story with with a lot of strong payoffs, which I did really appreciate. Basically,
that ending, bro.
I know. I will admit, there's only one section of the movie. It's not bad, but I do think it kind of drags in terms of okay, I think we get the idea. Maybe we just kind of fast forward back to our main story here, but you get the payoffs to all these things. They interlock so beautifully.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, okay, so that's how I'm feeling about it. So let me give you a little bit of background.
Go for it.
All right, so as you know, Alice Walker, she wrote a little book, became an acclaimed novel back in '82, led to a lot of buzz, and the way that works in Hollywood, hey, this book's getting a lot of buzz. We need scripts. Let's go for the book. got John Peters, the infamous John Peters, and Peter Gruber. They were the producing duo. They went to a lot of films, and they wanted to option this, and they went to Alice Walker. I'm sure any meeting with John Peters is not going to go great. So, so Alice Walker, she was a little hesitant, did not trust Hollywood, justifiably, especially with her very importante book. So what happened was, Quincy Jones, he kind of assisted. He was kind of like, get me. Quincy Jones is kind of like, I know there's an actual Black Godfather in Hollywood.
Get back in there.
I know there's an actual Black Godfather in Hollywood. There's like an old documentary about him. But I mean, Quincy Jones is kind of the other Black Godfather of Hollywood, like the behind the scenes, like the producer, the music. Titan in the music industry. The guy who's kind of working behind the scenes in a lot of movies, has hands in a lot of stuff like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, Quincy Jones is a very key figure in kind of the Black excellence in Hollywood and how all that works. So Quincy Jones, he essentially was assisting in kind of ironing out kind of factors along with Alice Walker in terms of, okay, here's the deal. Half the crew on this picture have to be either Black, female, or African descent. So we got to make sure we kind of represent everyone, make sure like half the crew and half the people work on this kind of like, so we're getting kind of the vibe in there. So it's not just like Hollywood just kind of like, yeah, this is how we interpret this book to be.
Totally.
A little bit of authenticity. So it was that, and the other part of the deal.
As he's Tommy Williams, you take a seat in the corner for this one.
So basically, it was kind of a three-pronged sort of thing. So again, half the crew has to be essentially Black, female. The Alice Walker she wrote a draft of the script, then they brought in other people, but at the end of the day she gets final script approval. They don't make the movie unless she signs off on the script. And Quincy Jones asked Steven Spielberg to direct, which Spielberg little hesitant, because again first kind of like book, first legit like book adaptation of a very beloved book. Obviously not a Black man in the South. There's that going on. A lot of shared life experience there. That got him the most. Like, I don't know if I'm the guy. Look, Quincy, I love that you're asking me this. I don't know if I'm the guy for this, though.
Yeah.
And even Alice Walker, she was a little unsure. Like, Quincy Jones insisted, like, no, we need Steven Spielberg, Alice. He's the guy for this. And she saw E.T. It's like, okay, maybe he could do it.
Yeah, I think it really is just kind of like people, sort of understood the baseline emotion in Spielberg's movies.
Yeah. I think that's ultimately what sold her. Like, she saw the emotion. That's really, we got to get this guy. And he's the only one who's going to convey the emotion in the story. So,
that hospital scene in E.T. and not cry. There's not a dry eye in the house.
Nope. All right, so this was the first acting gig for both Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. This is their first film. Because they both, again, Oprah was kind of like, she didn't have the Oprah Winfrey show yet. She was still kind of early on, like a journalist and everything. And Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's like Spielberg almost kind of plucked her out of like journalism obscurity.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I think she might have had
pretty much like a local anchor.
Yeah, essentially, Oprah. Like, I don't think she had like any real show at all at this point. I think she was just like kind of featured on television.
I think she had the biggest thing she had was like a local talk show that was literally called something like "Let's Chat."
Yeah, it was something. It was something. If it was something really low level, like the building blocks of an Oprah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Whoopi Goldberg, she'd been doing stand up at this point. That's really all she had done. Like really at this point.
And Whoopi Goldberg was like, both the casting choices were so bold, but Whoopi in particular, man.
Like, just she had been doing
how much Spielberg fought for her.
Like, Whoopi was on the uprise with the whole, like, she was doing like kind of like the Carnegie Hall, like kind of like evening with kind of comedy kind of shows. If you will. Like, she would basically go on stage for about an hour and kill it and do a really good job, and that kind of like the reputation kind of spread. So that was her audition. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg basically they asked her to do an audition. Their audition basically was like, hey, why don't you perform stand-up for us? So you have like 40 people, including a lot of again, you have Quincy Jones, Steven Spielberg, and Michael Jackson in the room. Like,
Michael Jackson.
I know Michael Jackson was there too, just randomly. He was just kind of there. Like Quincy Jones, you gotta remember.
That's about right from the 80s.
You gotta remember, Quincy Jones knows everyone in Hollywood, especially all the black talent in Hollywood. So it's like, hey, Michael, you want to come watch Whoopi perform? Do I?
That's adorable.
Yeah, so anyway, they go there, and Whoopi Goldberg does her. She calls it the BLE-T routine. She does the black ET routine because Spielberg's in the audience. And
oh no! Oh god!
Yeah, from what I hear, it's pretty funny. It's anyway. It's like, what if ET lands in a black neighborhood?
I imagine it doesn't go well.
Yeah. So
I need to look that up. That sounds
well, I've
hilarious.
tried. It's kind of hard to find. You have to
Really?
find, you have to go through like the actual stand-up, like one of her stand-up routines, to kind of like sift through and find it if you can find it. Anyway, so Danny Glover's early in his career, pre-Lethal Weapon, and movie was so well received. It inspired a lot of people in the industry. Like apparently DiCaprio and Brian Dennehy loved this movie.
Brian Dennehy, nice.
Yeah. Dennehy he loved Danny Glover's performance, and DiCaprio claims, I don't know how true this is. DiCaprio claims like this is the movie made him want to be an actor.
I could see it, man. I could see it. I mean, the acting in this movie specifically.
Yeah. So last thing,
11 Academy Award nominations, not one win. I found that kind of interesting.
well, I was about to say that, but yes.
I'm sorry.
No, infamously yes, though, Tiki. So 11 nominations, specifically 11 nominations. Spielberg didn't even get nominated for director, and not a single win. And and everyone was very upset about it. Like before, like people really got upset over it now. But I'm saying, like,
I mean,
now,
you know what? Honestly, this is the time to call for an Oscar so white kind of scenario, just because of the level of talent involved here.
exactly. And that's about it. Yeah.
All right. So, Dragon, just go over the Lethal Weapon routine really quick, and we'll get right into it.
You know, so rarely does our Lethal Weapon comparison actually apply when we have a Lethal Weapon star in the movie. Just want to highlight that for a mere second. Yes, so Danny
But
Glover.
it's not fun loving Danny Glover, though.
No. This is like, oh no, why is Danny Glover so scary?
Oh my god.
So anyway, no, folks. So the way we do this is, it's a commentary podcast. So if you want to link it up, like whether it be on HBO Max or the DVD or Amazon, what have you, line up at the 00 mark when it's black. It's all black before before the titles pop up, for the Warner Brothers logo and everything pops up. Just basically line it up, and you can play it so you can kind of track us along as we kind of talk about it. Otherwise, you just want to listen to this as a podcast. You just kind of go through it. We're just going to basically go through the conversation linearly. So that's kind of like, basically get a rough idea of what we're talking about as we kind of break down everything in the movie, and probably use your imagination to imagine what's on the screen. Now, folks, so when Tiki says the word go, that's when you hit play. So we're going to do like Lethal Weapon, 1, 2, 3, and we go on go when he says it.
Right. Yes. Okay. All right, without further ado, people, this is going to be a long one, but I'm looking forward to it. The color purple in 1, 2, 3, go! All right. Very conveniently on HBO Max for our viewing pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, for a change, yeah.
Loyalty to Warner Brothers. Loyalty to the brand. No, I'm just kidding.
Look at that purple text. We're already in the right film.
Marie Schrader would just love that. How do you feel Marie Schrader thinks about this film?
I think she'd be elbowing Hank every 5 seconds, saying, "Look at the purple; it's so pretty. we gotta buy some hand towels." That
oh my god! I imagine that Marie Schrader, like maybe in high school or something, had like just a full poster of this movie in her bedroom.
Oh, that would be perfect, though, wouldn't it?
Right.
I'm just saying, they'd love that in the writer's room. Just like, yeah, well, if we just saw like Maria says like a poster of the color purple in her room.
All right, so here we have the Makidada chant, if you will, the hand clapping game.
Yeah,
a wonderful sort of bookend to the film.
How crazy is it? Just said like the credit already popped up introducing Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the fact that it's like. Dragon, I think that Whoopi's performance in this movie is like one of the most mind-blowing film performances I have personally ever seen. I mean, both of them are wonderful, but I think Whoopi's the one that really has to, because Oprah really is, Oprah does get a lot, don't get me wrong. I do think she's obviously a standout. But man, Whoopi has that arc. She has that transformation.
Yeah, okay, now, folks, buckle up here. He's like the one brief happy moment in the movie before things.
Oh my god, I know, right?
That's what they like. Look at these sisters just kind of playing.
All the purple and the fields, we're getting the title right away.
We're basically doing our full circle setup here to Celie and Nettie, who's kind of happy playing in the flowers and everything, doing their little kind of patty cake thing. So yeah, So again, it's just again, it's so darn pleasant. I love how it wraps around full circle towards the end, and
I think it's one of the ultimate kind of like setup and payoffs in any Spielberg movie with the hand clapping game.
Yep, and I just love how just throwing you off the scent that this is gonna be a happy movie.
But you know what, Dragon? You say that, and it's like I'm not saying that this is like a terribly cheerful movie, but I do think one of the strengths of this movie. And one of the reasons why, it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I would probably, like, for me personally, I'd rank it over something like Schindler's List, is that I do think it's inherently, like, very watchable. And what I mean by that is, like, there are tragic things going on throughout the movie, for sure, but there's also kind of, like, an air of humanity and levity to it. And Schindler's List has, like, it does have it's Oscar Schindler, but... But really, that movie is like it's like aggressively just like fucked up for a lot of it. Whereas, The Color Purple, there are fucked up story beats for sure. But I don't know. I just feel like I get a lot more joy out of it from scene to scene too.
Okay, couple things. Okay, you saw like him putting her down with the smile, which is going to come back really big later with Shug Avery. Now, winter of 1909. Okay, fun fact. Okay, it's a fun story. Spielberg's son was born during this. His first wife went into labor during this scene.
Oh wow, that's crazy!
Literally, as they were shooting, Spielberg was like, "Guys, can you believe
was
it?"
Kate Capshaw?
What?
Was this Kate Capshaw?
No. Kate Capshaw's the second wife.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I forget what her name is, but like the first wife who had Max Spielberg, the first son. Anyway, so like, and also they used after the baby was born, like the first couple of weeks, they recorded young Max Spielberg's cries, and they put it in the scene when the baby's crying.
Oh man.
Little Easter egg, like Frank Marshall, like like Spielberg's go-to producer guy. He had to ghost direct the scene.
That's crazy. That's fun.
Because they had to look at the little detail there. Again, she's sewing in the initials on the clothing, and that's how the whole Olivia diaper runner happens. Anyway, yeah. So, so again, look, 1909 winter, man, like one of those, those old timey births. Just really look at all like the details of like the winter and everything, and just like the breath coming out of the baby, and it's haunting.
Just right here, I mean, it's like the first like really dramatic moment.
Absolutely. And I love how he framed the father, who's kind of the author of this pain, who's like outside. Like it's like he's beyond, like right now, this is like an intimate, like beautiful moment, like mother and child, but then the reality of like 14-year-old girl, father, not cool. Yeah, but I love the coloring of that scene too, where it's like the cold of the outside with him, and it's kind of warmth and like warmth of life inside, and it's all just taken away. And anyway.
So I want to bring up, like, early into this conversation, I want to bring up a quote from Ebert in his review that I really think sums this up really well. Sums up kind of like the lighthearted elements of this movie really well. And he says that the plantations of this movie kind of like they live in your mind the same way a film location like Oz does, where. And I think what Ebert was trying to get at when he said that is that there is an inherently kind of magical quality to the atmosphere, and I think we see that in stuff like the rain. We see it in the and just like the color palettes. What's your take on that? What do you think? Because I kind of watched this movie like with that quote in my mind of like. Well, this is going to transport me somewhere, and I really think it does.
Well, I had an epiphany about The Color Purple recently, and I don't know how like apt it is. I don't know if it really holds any water, but it's kind of a weird analogy. So I think, well, not analogy, it's kind of a weird way of looking at it. Where I think in comparison, because again, this opens the door for Spielberg to make Schindler's List, but I feel
absolutely, yeah,
it's so weird because I don't know if maybe I'm alone in this problem. I don't know. It's that I kind of feel. The scope of Schindler's List, I can get. It's not that there's something wrong with this movie. It's just that I can get into Schindler's List more because it, in a weird way, it's again because of the massive scope of the atrocity and because it's so like unfathomably like just horrific. I can kind of like accept it more where this is like too real and too like this happens in life, and this is just like
I can kind of see that. Where
it's that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying obviously everything that happens in Schindler's List did happen. It is horrible, but it's like on such a scale of like again, it's like kind of one of those things you have to marvel at that this happened in history.
It's almost more of like a disaster movie in some elements.
Or again, in this case, it's like where the intimacy here is just kind of more sad to me. So in some ways, it's kind of sadder than Schindler's List, but I kind of get like the levity and the inspirational moments from Schindler's List as well, despite just the sweeping kind of scope of the horrible stuff that's happening there. Where here it's like I think there is levity here, and I do enjoy the levity when we get it. But I'm not saying I dislike the non-levity. I'm just saying I think it's kind of like wall to wall again. The part of the purpose of the story here is like or she's enduring a lot of true hardship, and we're front loaded. It's impressive that we're front loading all of that in the movie, which we usually do not do. It's usually we build to something like
okay, but I just want to clear the outside though that her enduring hardship, Dragon. Holy fucking mother of God, it's going to come back around to one of the most satisfying movie monologues I have ever seen in my goddamn life.
Oh, that's great.
So, it's like, I feel like it all works in tandem with each other. I do hear what you're saying, but,
yeah, so here again, so we have we're 1909, the early 1900s. Essentially, we're kind of coming out of the Old West. I mean, still don't know. I know a lot of years went past that, but I'm saying it's still kind of that weird Old West kind of thinking of like they have like the child brides and like kind of like a dowry thing. You know what the eerie thing to me about this movie is looking at this whole thing right now. It's going on with Albert, essentially trying to marry Nettie, and it's not going to go because the father has icky desires.
We need to set him up soon too. By the way,
right. Let's think. So. Albert, Danny Glover here. He's he's a very unlikable character who has.
This is very much Danny Glover playing against type, Dragon.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I love what Danny Glover's doing. Like any good villain, he doesn't see himself as a villain, and in that respect, Danny Glover, what he's doing,
and he has a hell of a redemption arc.
Yes. I love that he's. By act again, he has an arc that really pays off, but he has an arc, but it really doesn't happen until all the way in Act 3. I like that again. There's they built a humanity in him. That's what I'm talking about. When you were bringing up the levity, there is levity that comes from him, but not for a long stretch of the film. And then we play him as like the bumbling kind of like guy in love who clearly does not really perceive anything true about that relationship. And then by the end, like we see again, like he's taking in the humanity, but he just doesn't know how to process it. That's my read on how. He's
probably like one of the most emotionally affected people by this whole story. Which is crazy to think about, considering how cold-hearted he is in some spots.
Exactly. So, back to the scene that's at hand right now. The whole essentially this dowry thing that's going on here, kind of almost like not an arranged marriage, but sort of like essentially like the old West arranged marriages where they married really young and it was really creepy. Where in this case, it kind of parallels a little bit of like slavery to me, a little bit, in terms of
it's interesting, Dragon. This is going to come off as like really like simple-minded to me. But I just assumed this movie was about slavery. Did you think the same way before you saw it?
Well, no, because I knew it wasn't it's not Amistad. It's like more in like the 1900s in which that did.
Wait, well, I'm just stupid. I was just ignorant. But I do think that this movie, it plays in a time period that is like so often just kind of forgotten about in African American history, which is post-Reconstruction, pre-civil rights movement. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting time where it's like they're technically free, but there's still so much hardship and so much adversity, especially within their own communities.
Yeah, that's especially if you're in the South, like they are right now, which is the really fascinating thing. Where again, it's like the fact that I just like that. I assume this is kind of carried over from the book as well. It's just in general, like I think that there is the allegory of again, it's kind of slavery within the black community in a twisted way through what this girl experiences, in which basically being sold off to be married by her father, and all of her kind of her freedoms are taken away. And we have one character who's literally in a slave relationship.
Oh man, yeah, that is clearly the most fucked up like 1-to-1 of actual slavery.
But I like that again. I like that we don't do traditional racism here. I like that. Don't get me wrong. The racial stuff is actually in the movie, but I like that we don't do a traditional.
I think there's like one scene of blatant racism, and you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I like that it's kind of built up to that gobsmacking sequence that we do have. So it's like we don't really introduce the white man all that often in this film. When we do it, it's like it's like we poke the bear a little bit, like, hey, you're gonna buy something or get out. To ultimately when we really do something big with it, and then it's like it's like when the white folk got their hands on her, like that whole thing, which we'll get to. Very effective. Anyway, so So yeah, and also it's like her kids are so darn rotten, aren't they? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Harpo's gonna win. Harpo is funny. Harpo does bring the levity. He does, and we'll get there. But
Harpo, that's what I'm saying. Harpo, I feel like this movie would not work without Harpo. If you didn't have Harpo, you would have it would just be too oppressive. You know what I mean? But because you have Harpo in there, he's like a perfect ingredient.
Yeah, but think about it. Like the first, like Harpo, like just chucks a rock at her head the first time he sees her. He's such a little.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying like there is some levity there.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's like great layers to these characters. Where Harpo, there is some levity once Sophia comes into the fray, and by the same token, there is some levity with the Danny Glover character that kind of is intermediate. But by that same token, this scene here, big moment. And I love how Danny Glover plays it. It's kind of communicating the look here with him playing against type here, which, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of type they really took on after this movie, but let's just say in general. Danny Glover, again, when she says something against him, he's not angry, but he's kind of stirred, like, I have to do this. Because, again, it's indoctrinated into him.
He's insulted almost.
Yeah, it's insulted, and also again, it's kind of what we explore later with his father. You know, with old Mister, as they call him. You know, you have to. You rule with a firm hand, so the women don't get out of line, which is a twisted way of thinking. Which is like, if she speaks out against me, I gotta hit her. Then she'll be under my thumb. And again, the symbolism of the color purple for me, I kind of took it as that, you know, purple being kind of the color of bruising, the color of abuse, the color of it's like a sun. It's after the sun is set. It's after all the levity is gone. It's kind of like, but it's not. There's like a twinge of hope. Again, colors in purple, kind of the perfect color of abuse. Might have read into a few things there, but you know, it's still there. All right. Anyway. Oh, if you couldn't get any more heart wrenching, let's young Celie here when she's Tiki, you there? Okay. So we have a young Celie here thinking she's run across her daughter, and I will admit, when we do reunite her with her daughter by the end of the film, it is great, and I like how we bring the kids back, but it is a little bit of a leap of like, man, I was really lucky that they ran into like that Nettie and those kids ran into each other. You know, it was really emotionally effective, so we can give it a pass. Regardless, yes, the you know, this is still a heart wrenching moment that's going on here, which is like she's being kind of like teased with the life that she could have had, which again will pay off by the end of things rather well. And also, it's kind of past here. I think it's either happened already, it's about to happen, where the shopkeep says, "Hey, you're gonna buy something, get out of here." It's like a little flag planted, like, yeah, let's remember. We're you know, it's pretty much an all black movie, but then you know, we have like just you know, kind of like very very few white characters sprinkled through there that are then going to become a little bit more effective later on when really bad things happen. It's almost kind of like blood in the water, one could say. I don't know, kind of Spielberg in the Jaws thing, just kind of throwing it out there. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, honestly, it's like it is kind of like the buy of the movie, the whole like Olivia thing. Like, man, too many girls named Olivia. It's only two, but you know, it's again that's fine. Something to highlight here before we get too deep into it: the child actors on Celie, and especially Nettie when she re-enters the fray here, really talented, really good.
Yeah. All right, Drake, we're going to have to kind of sync up again, but I'll get HBO Max going. The last thing I heard you say was something about how the color purple was kind of like a visual symbol for abuse.
Yeah, basically I said it's like the perfect color to symbolize abuse.
And I can see that, yeah.
All right. Okay, right now I kind of went over, it's a little bit of like, one of the things with the movie, when you want to know, TK has realized, and I can only tell you how much time is left in the movie with the way HBO Max is set up.
We'll figure it out. Let me just open it up. Don't worry.
All right.
We'll figure it out. Keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So, what was it? All right. So, yeah, I was mentioning about the whole Olivia thing, where I think it's that's like one of the knocks against the movie. It's really lucky that, man, when she went to Africa, she ran into the kids that she lost. That is really lucky.
You know what? It's a gimme.
No, it is. I'm just saying, though. I'm saying I'll take that, and that's fine because that plays really wonderfully with what it leads to. I
Of
will say this
course,
though:
yeah.
when we take a scene in the general store of like when she thinks, but then again, she probably thinks every little girl named Olivia might be her daughter. So perhaps I guess that plays better than I thought.
All right.
All right. So basically, Nettie has now re-entered the fray right now.
We haven't had the separation yet.
No, not yet. No, she's re-entered. Like she's like, "Hey, you're married now. Can I stay with you?" Again, it's this twisted. Hey, my 14-year-old sister's married to Danny Glover. Can I stay?
So you don't have timestamps on HBO
Well,
Max.
I mean, I have a timestamp to you, but it's like how much time is left. I can't tell you where it is exactly because of the way the thing.
Okay, well that's really weird because.
Well, I'm playing it on the TV. That's why. Okay, I don't have.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm playing it on my browser and it's.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. How much time is left for you right now? What's it say? Let me see if I can do the math on it and figure it out.
It's counting down from 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's counting down from like 40 seconds.
Okay.
Look, I'll just tell. When I say now, put it at 2:15 on the dot.
2:15.
Okay, just put it at 2 hours and 15 minutes on the dot when I say now. Okay.
Nah, shit. Are we gonna get a scene transition soon? Do you know?
All right. Well, I mean, right now they're. Let's see. Right now they're doing laundry, and the kids have just run through the laundry.
Like honestly, maybe it would be best because the separation's coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it would be best if I just paused it right. Oh man, I'm sorry.
So right now he's getting eyes on Nettie. He's like, because he always wanted to marry Nettie, and he's just kind of he's giving her creepy eyes, like, oh, that's
this lack of timestamps kind of killing me, Dragon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
We also have lack of image, but let's focus on the timestamps. So right now the girls are like it's at night and they're kind of complimenting Celia right now.
Okay. So I get what you're saying about like she comes back and they're doing. Okay, I'm seeing they're doing laundry. Okay.
Night would have the shadows going on.
Yes.
This is kind of being silly, being all sisterly right now. Cows need a milking, shirt needs a mending, yada yada yada. So right now it's under like 2 hours and 14 minutes. Like it's now counting down from then. So that's kind of where we're.
Hold on one sec. I'm gonna try and pause it a line. All right. Okay. The camera's gonna pan to Danny Glover as he takes a hit from his pipe. So let me know when that pan happens.
All right.
Because it's still on the two girls in that room, right?
Yeah, right now they're doing the patty cake thing again.
Okay, yeah, just let me know when the camera pans to Danny Glover.
All right. Glover.
Okay, all right.
He just lit the pipe.
Yeah, okay.
They're doing the labels thing.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Right, now get the image up, would you?
Okay.
All right. Anyway, this is a really charming idea. The fact that so the ideas of Nettie being away from basically, so it's kind of like the whole thing. It's almost like someone like dropping out of high school or something, where basically she does not have like the kind of the reading and writing skills because she was basically rushed into marriage and raising the kids and not really much else. Given that
as you do in the Wild West of the 1910s.
Well, sure. Again, kind of out of the Wild West at this point, but yes. And Danny Glover basically just not the most progressive thinker. I think if we've established anything in this film, Albert.
So this is basically like the good version of the Beauty and the Beast remake. Teaching a girl to read? How absurd!
No, seriously, this is nice that Nettie is teaching her.
No, it's absolutely like the start of Celie's journey, because her being able to read is like, as we see through the movie, it's like almost kind of like one of her superpowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bigger thing is that it's kind of the emotional through line and bond for the sister. Where
of course, yeah.
Basically, she teaches her how to read, so later on, when she has the letters, she can read her connection to Nettie.
Sure.
The letters are a very pivotal plot point, so that's very much, so that's kind of what we're establishing here. Also, they have the irony of the whole Oliver Twist thing. They're like, oh, another miserable orphan. Yeah. Oh, look at Nettie and Nettie and Celie.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah!
I will say, I'm going to speculate.
The movie's going to suck in a couple minutes, Dragon.
All right, so I'm gonna speculate here. I could be completely wrong here. I like to think like deep down fundamentally, and it absolutely might not work this way, but it's that I like to think perhaps, and obviously it got toned down significantly, but at least in the book there was more of the whole like the lesbian relationship between Celie and Shug Avery, and I like to think perhaps maybe because of the intimate bond that they had as sisters. I'm not saying it's like there's like a correlation there, but I'm just saying that perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps there's like a comfort with the female sex that maybe then it was kind of like maybe led into that. I don't know how that works per se. I'm just saying maybe that I don't know. I'm just maybe drawing some.
No, you are making a good observation there. I could see it
because she's very close to her sister, and she's been violated by all the men she's trusted in her life. So I don't know. Maybe that clicked off a switch. I don't know.
Okay, so speaking of switches, Dragon, Danny Glover's got an idea, a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, this scene. So the creepiest thing about the scene is how he leaves the horse. That's the thing that kills me about the scene. And again, big thing that happens in this movie with very few characters, and it's really like at three very key center points. With four if you can. I guess technically four, but let's just focus on the three here, where you have Nettie. Nettie fighting back when she's about to be, like taken advantage of by a man. She's like fighting against the status quo. Then obviously we have it with Sophia, and then ultimately we have it with Celie. But then you could always make the point with Shug. But let's just focus on the actual like when we're hitting people here. So yeah, like
really at the end of the day, I think the ultimate like coming apart to the status, breaking apart from the status quo, is Danny Glover. Ultimately, like that's the biggest one, I think.
Well, yeah, for sure. And again, here we just have like he's making a very horrific thing here. He's about to do, and he's about to try to do, and it's just amazing. We have a character who kind of starts at this place, and he just kind of comes around by the very end. I like that we don't really redeem him after that. All that though. Like he's still a pretty terrible guy, but like he's still human though.
Yeah, totally.
That's the thing. Again, the danger of Danny Glover is he's so darn charming. Look at him here, like all those flowers.
He's seriously like live action Facilier in this scene, Dragon. I swear to God.
A little bit, yeah. It's like imagine Dr. Facilier mixed with you remember that movie where it's that guy who's like going around rounding up the children when he's like playing like that little organ grinder thing? I don't think it's like Return to Oz, but it's something like the guy who's like he's trapping the children.
Is it something Wicked This Way Comes?
I don't know. Maybe might be it.
I don't know.
All right, anyway. Point being, it's like kind of a creepier duck.
When you lay out that premise, all I think of is the Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
Okay, not that.
His character is literally called the Grabber.
Nice. So, anyway, so again, point being here, Nettie, she fights him off, and he just cannot let that stand. So, of course, she's not going to be able to stay at the house, which is going to lead to the most difficult sequence to shoot in the entire film because it was so emotionally draining. They tried to shoot it.
I cannot imagine Spielberg's pressure in this moment.
They tried to do it.
Like Spielberg is probably just thinking, like, "Oh my God, I am going to ruin these poor girls' lives right here. I'm going to scar them for life. This is like pure emotional trauma."
All right, so let me start here with
look how red their eyes are, bro.
Yeah, so let me start by saying the performance on Nettie is just absolutely stunning here when she is the why. I love it. It's so good. Now here's the thing. So Spielberg's direction here is no matter what happens, don't let your sister go. So
man, yeah.
A lot of this is kind of improvised. The majority of this is like it's basically there's like a vague direction of okay, just make sure you hold on to your sister. You probably hit your marks here, and then like Danny Glover off to the side is like told they didn't expect this, like the hitting the hands and stuff. It's like a lot of this is kind of improvised, and like the whole exchange of her saying why was not scripted. Like all of that was just the channeling the scene. Danny Glover felt really uncomfortable doing this whole scene.
I imagine, yeah.
And that's the thing. So initially they tried to shoot it in oneers so they wouldn't have to do it so many times. But unfortunately, again, with certain when we cut away from like the oneer of a shot, we kind of had to do it a couple times. It was just they gave him breaks in between, but it was very draining. Just that's an awful. What a cruel thing that he's doing here. He tries to violate the girl, and he's just like kicking her off the land and separating the only good thing that Celie has in her life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. Look at the desperation in this girl's eyes. The Nettie is killing it here, man. Like the best performance of all the child actors, easily. Just the why.
Yeah,
it's like the dramatic version of Kenan and Kel. I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And this is where it's like this film is, it's not going to be another just Shakespeare fantasy. It's really just going to tap us into some pretty dark stuff.
And I just love the whole, only death, not even death will keep me away from her. And look at Danny Glover's reaction. This is what I'm saying. I think the way Danny Glover's playing this is so perfect in that he did what he thought he had to do, in that, he's not just like an evil monster. He's just like, you see, like when he sees her reaction and like the anguish in her, I think he is I think he's taking it in, but he's still set in his way. And that, like, I feel bad, but I'm not going to change my mind.
Totally.
It's just like it's institutionalized in him here from his father. Again, it's the cycle of violence here. It's like, no, I'm not gonna. This is tragic, but I cannot back down here. And just like almost like a kick in the dog. Get out of here, get. Yeah. Nothing but death can keep me from it.
Oh man!
I think the great Norma Bates, if she were a film critic in this scene, would write down, "It's so sad."
It really is, though.
It is. Oh, there's an important set piece. We have the rocking chair with the little shaving strap, little leather strap.
The crazy thing is, it's not even the saddest scene in the movie.
I know. Okay, now this right here, this is like the other thing I've seen from the movie that I had my imagination for. That's the one thing this honestly is the scene I was most hyped for in The Color Purple. Is the idea of this tense thing of like, if you cut me, I'll kill you. And now seeing it in context, seeing how much of a monster this guy is, and like just the warning of like, hey, just right after.
And also, knowing that it's going to kind of come back around in the third act too.
I know. I love how it comes back so much. But that's what I'm saying. It's the tension of like, I want to kill this guy, but I'm a 14-year-old girl. I don't think I can do it. But now imagine it's like the tension of, oh God, if I cut him by accident, even. Like, God, he's so monstrous. Very tense, and again, just building it all up.
Oh yeah.
You know me, Tiki. I'm terrified of these straight razors, and I would never shave like this ever.
I would never shave with a straight razor either. You and I are on the same page.
There's always one episode of CSI that also scared me off of it too.
Oh God!
Diedrich Bader, the lovely Diedrich Bader, at the end of an episode, they kind of ends on.
I think Sweeney Todd did it for me.
Well, I was saying there's like this. Obviously, Sweeney Todd's in there as well, but I'm just saying, and this is like the reminder. Is like, okay, that's it. Never again. Just like, Diedrich Bader at the end of a CSI, the end of like a dark comedy note where like he's on like a drug that was like a blood thinner, and he cut himself shaving doing that. It's like, oh God, the implication he's gonna die. He's like, oh
no, that's horrifying. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm using strand. I'm electric razor all the way, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I actually use razors from Dollar Shave Club.
All right.
I'm not even kidding. That is my go-to brand.
And of course, like, again, she's focused on those letters, and when this happens, distract her. Hence the mini cut. But what's the only thing that's going to save her from a ridiculous beating right now? It's going to be Shug Avery. Yeah.
Ooh.
Mail call.
Mail. When I get it, it never fails. The song's already like I don't know the words anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll stop.
All right. Look, a little Harpo there. Just a little
I know.
You were going to try and kill my daddy.
Oh, my God.
Are there strawberries in that jar?
Looks like it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Like, probably like preserved strawberries.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like they were like a liquid of some kind. Yeah. So yeah, it's just so interesting. Like he's in this kind of corresponded relationship with Shug Avery the whole time, and it's like it's like again, like it's so fascinating. Like the one,
I mean, Seeley really is just kind of his slave. That really is what it comes down to.
I mean, honestly, I think the creepy thing about it is that he sees her as a kid, which again, he basically used her to fill a need of like, I need someone to basically, I need a babysitter versus a wife. That's essentially why he got married. Someone to clean the house, basically a babysitter / maid, which again fits the slave mold for sure. But essentially, he wants a mammy. Essentially, now, but that's the thing though. So again, he sees Shug Avery as a woman that he wants, who's very independent, very spirited, and like the only woman who kind of like in many ways intimidates him. In the kind of the classic sense, all men are intimidated by their wives. Yeah. Look at this. He's gonna kick down the screen door again. Like no soft touch at all with this guy.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, look at her, so sad. Okay, great transition we have here in the
awesome transition. Awesome.
And essentially our poster shot.
Fucking wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
there's a lot with shadows.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I love how we kind of transition. Like, she goes from like the 14-year-old to like, I don't know how old she, like maybe like 24 years old. Like, what do you think? Like 10 years? Well, how old do you think Harpo is?
I really feel Harpo is probably like in his 20s. I would say in this section, yeah.
I guess maybe 18, 20 years or something. Well, here's the thing, folks. There's actually probably an answer, like when it's going to say the years usually pop up, like say summer in this of 09s, and maybe it'll actually tell us. I can't recall if it tells us here. But point being, years have passed. And that's the thing, too. If you notice, I mean, especially later on, we actually put the numbers on the screen. We established that, the times are changing. And again, like we're not quite in like kind of the women's lib of it all yet, but we are, again, the fact is like, we have better cars and stuff now. Like the times are changing. The fact we start in 09, we end by like 36, I think.
Harpo, ain't that horse been saddled yet?
I like Harpo's hat.
Harpo, I like Harpo's outfits just in general. He has probably my favorite wardrobe of any character.
I agree. Now, okay, so 1916. There we go. So it's been since 1909. Well, roughly 09, maybe 010. So it's Okay.
So this is what I'm saying. It's like, the dude's still an asshole, but there's like a little bit of an air of levity here. Oh God, Dragon, black socks.
Hold on. Okay, but you're right though, Tiki, is getting back to it. This is where we begin to humanize him by, again, we see him in the kind of the cow-toed usual thing we usually see in like romantic comedies and stuff, where we see, the man intimidated by, by the female, like by the girlfriend or the wife here, where he's like, he wants to impress Shug Avery, so he's kind of scrambling to get himself gussied up and everything. You see a little bit of levity in Seeley here, where we're starting to infuse for the end game of it all a little bit of like the redemption, like the part, not redemption, a little bit of like kind of like the arc in Albert. And we're
a little bit, although he's still got a long way to go, obviously.
That's the thing, he does, but I'm saying importantly we saw him as a monster, and now we're seeing
this is like the first time he gets really humanized.
We saw twinges of humanity in the monstrous acts that he did, and now we're seeing a little bit more of the humanity. Like he's not a good guy, but he is like we're playing classic Danny Glover kind of comedy here, where it's like he's just the grease I use in my hair. And he's, and it keeps.
He very much reminds me of Stanley from Streetcar Named Desire, with his, like the way he yells the name of his wife.
Well, it's maybe a little more like. You're right in terms of the dramatic side of it. Like an Oscar Proud sort of thing, like Trudy.
Oh God, it is kind of Oscar Proud-esque now that you mention it.
A little bit, yeah.
So I love this. So Whoopi Goldberg, let's talk about her. Let's analyze her performance, because at the start of her screen time, she's basically saying nothing. She's literally covering up her smile. And it's such a phenomenal transformation, Dragon. I mean, we literally see a woman just come into her own before our eyes on screen. Oh, God. Fucking magic hour shot right there, bro.
Yep. Also, if you notice, I believe he had purple flowers.
Yes, yes. But anything to us to speak to on that front with Whoopi?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. I do love, like, as I mentioned, with the whole, we kind of saw the origin of the whole why she's covering up her smile thing. But you're right, though. Again, it's like we do kind of like we build to her being more vocal about things, and she is a very kind of more of like an observatory kind of spectator character. And then Shug Avery really brings.
Because at the start of the movie, like at the start of her screen time, she pretty much seems like a broken person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there is a little bit of humor there with her holding up the tie and everything. Like, oh, he forgot it, and I knew he.
There's a cheeky silent comedy aspect to it,
right? But it's still like, oh man, this woman is like, she is just like life is just beating her down. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's talk about the real star of this movie.
Yes. Oh my god.
Let's talk about Josh Peck's favorite person ever. Let's talk about Oprah.
Is that true? Does Josh Peck love Oprah?
Well, no, I'm saying Drake and Josh. The running gag was that Josh loved Oprah, and like
I forgot about that.
He actually appeared on an episode once.
I think I fell off of Nickelodeon right around Drake and Josh.
That's the thing. That Drake and Josh was good. And the point being is the biggest running gag through all of Drake and Josh is that Josh loved Oprah. In one episode, he actually hit her with a car by accident. They actually got Oprah to be hit by the car.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyway, so yes, Oprah Winfrey. And here's what you should know: she adored the color purple, and she would always bring it up every chance she got when she did like kind of like the little like the Let's
kind of like thing. The would you say the color purple might have been like the prototypical like Oprah's book club pick, if you will?
If it was like the book. It was like the book that every book club had. You know, seriously, she brought up the color purple all the time, and when they brought her in, like she was so enthused to learn that she was like, when basically she got the call about the part, like she went to a fat farm because she felt like, oh man, I didn't get the part, I'm gonna lose all this weight and do something else. And it's like, no, Oprah, you got the part, don't lose any weight.
Wait on, Oprah.
And just like she ran from the fat farm.
Oh God, that's kind of a twisted story when you really think about it. But
wasn't it? It was more like she was kind of down in the dumps, and then she learned, hey, we want you to come in to read for the book.
Right.
It's like, yeah. It's like, because this is like her life's dream. She loved this book and she wanted to be a part of it any which way she could. And I remember what got her the part really is that Quincy Jones loved Oprah and he went to bat for her and he saw potential in her. And he was the one saying, look, Spielberg, you have to put Oprah in this movie. You got to get her.
I mean, it's probably just based almost exclusively on her passion for it, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God. We're going to have a great transition here really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, with the, it's coming up, but with the father, you know, like, son, you're never going to marry her. Cut to wedding bells.
Yep. Well, the whole, like, don't move one step and don't make me wait long. You're right there. The whole, like, I won't. So just seriously,
sympathy. Wait too long, Harpo.
So there's sympathy for Harpo here, where Harpo is kind of caught between.
He is in a very difficult position here, yeah.
But again, it does signify the character.
Harpo!
Yes. So that's the thing, though. I love that Harpo is kind of indicative of kind of the three generations.
And then the cut to, I won't, I will!
Yes. So yeah, it's indicative of the three generations of men in the family, and basically the systematic problem in like kind of the toxic masculinity, if you want to give it like a trendy name. You have the the grandfather kind of puts it in Albert's head of like, no, you got to hit the woman to keep him in line. He's basically later on going to impart that to Harpo to very nice results. And we saw him literally between like the progressive side, which is like he found a girl like Sophia, which is going to be really good for him. And then you have, which would be a healthy relationship, and then you have like a boy who is trying to live up to his father, because again, a lot of these kids did not grow up without fathers, as they kind of like said it. Like basically, the pa, like you can't grow up without a pa, being kind of the advice of the movie that is later said by Shug Avery. So with that in mind, it's like a father is an important role model. When the father is no good, it's going to rub off in bad ways.
Right.
And Harpo is kind of saved by Sophia ultimately at the end of the day, which is good here.
And Sophia kind of has like the opposite arc of Celie, where Celie is about. Her arc is like, basically she gets beaten down in the prologue and kind of like slowly and systematically starts to rise back up, and
He is essentially an inspirational figure to her. Like, this is where you should start. This is where you should be boisterous and stand your ground and being aggressive. And also, I love the bit where all of we see Sophia's family. They're all very much cut from the same cloth. They're all very strong women. Like when Danny Glover walks over there, Albertus walks over, and it's like they all like stare him down. He slinks away. Just great.
I love this runner of Harpo just falling through the roof.
One could say he's falling with style.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's probably like the best comic relief runner in the whole movie.
I concur, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, she is going to, like, Oprah is going to go down a very different path from Celie, where it's like her story is almost kind of like, like starting on top and then kind of going down to the depths of despair, probably even worse than Celie did, and then rising above that. It's almost kind of like a rise and fall and rise again kind of arc.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, here's like that cycle continuing here, where he just says it so chipper. And again, the charm of Danny Glover, like, oh yeah, you gotta beat her. It's just
right. It's like perfectly harmless father-son advice.
Yeah, it's like
but there is a little bit of comic relief at play in the scene too, with the hay being thrown on him.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you wanna play catch? Hey, you want me to teach you how to beat your wife?
Yeah.
So like, right, of course he's like doing it like the worst like way he could do it. Like, hey, I want pie. Get me pie.
Oh my god.
Now I want your take on this, Tiki.
Yeah.
So big mo in the movie, obviously, Celie being kind of like the deciding vote here for the undecided Harpo whether or not he should beat his wife. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Is this beat her? Why do you think she says beat her?
I think because at this point in the movie she's so beaten down that it's literally the only response she knows.
Do you think on some level it's like, I'm not saying maliciously, but do you think maybe it's like a little bit of like, do you think it's jealousy or just her throwing in the towel? Do you think it's like, I mean, that's how it works for me. Why should it be any different?
Yeah, I think more it's like that's how it works for me. It's like I said, it's more kind of like I read it as it's all like, especially with the look on her face, like she doesn't even really know what she's doing. You know what I mean?
Just kind of like it's a response of some sort.
Right.
Like yeah. Okay, I love the comedy here of like him explaining.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we got to Oprah Winfrey's Oscar scene.
Yes, so seriously, I like the contrast though. Like she's doing the dramatic version, instead of Harpo saying, "No, it was a mule, father." You see, but yeah, this is like this horrific, just kind of like life experience that Sophia's had off screen. Like I thought, like family full when you have brothers, I thought like daddies, uncles, brothers. And I loves Harpo, but I kill him dead if before I let him beat me. It's just a perfect line. Alice Walker writing for you, kids. But by the way, Alice Walker at the end of the day here, I think she ended up loving the movie, but they did obviously things were changed and altered. And again, there's only so much she can do. Like when she approves the script, they're not always going to like it. Basically, they shot everything that she wanted, but in the editing, they had to take things out and certain things like they were written. But so it met that contract standard. So I think ultimately.
Okay, I'm sorry. Really, I got to interrupt you because what Whoopi said is pretty important. I think like this will be over soon, and heaven is always. And that really is kind of the root of her response. I think, like at this point in the movie, she's basically given up on the concept of having any happiness in her life at all. Like she is like in total nihilist mode.
Right.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I was getting at is that ultimately, like, a few things probably got changed or like maybe left out of the book. Like, obviously, one of the big kind of relationship components of the film. But I imagine there were a few kind of like things that ultimately she looks back on. She likes the end product of the movie, but again, the editing probably kind of rearranged or took certain things out. Again, I unfortunately I did not read the book, so I can't tell you exclusively what things were changed or not. But the impression to a guy who's not read the book, like I assume you are, as well as I am. Is that we it seems like very much we're taking as much from the book as we can and trying to present it in kind of like in 2 hours and like 2.5 hours or plus.
Well, you have to. For me too, I have a philosophy of like if you're just going to take the book and just do it beat by beat,
just read the book.
Right. So it's like I think the best book adaptations are the ones that try and change not necessarily change things for the point of subverting expectations or whatever, but, changing things around narratively, changing things around as far as, as far as structure of events and as far as pacing goes and stuff like that. And I definitely think this does that. The only big difference, as far as I know, is the fact that there's a more kind of sexually explicit nature to Shug's relationship. But does the movie really need that? It's like we have enough with Shug to imply things. And frankly, I think in 1985, when all the way in 2022, fucking dipshits are throwing a little hissy fit temper tantrum over a lesbian kiss in Lightyear of all things, you know what I mean? Like, I frankly think the stuff we do with Shug in this movie is quite progressive, especially for the time.
No, I agree. I mean, that's the thing where I see an well, I don't want to get to it too much before Shug even shows up in the movie. Let's table that, but sorry, the stuff that's already happened real quick. I just wanted to make a note, just given like the big Oprah scene we just had. I love that there is a real impact to what Seeley kind of has done here, which he kind of drove Harper to do, because their marriage essentially, like, they're not divorced, but they are separated, and it does just kind of really basically the idea is they kind of beat each other until she just left.
Yeah.
So she kind of destroyed that marriage by by not with malice, but just kind of like by sharing kind of her sad life experience. It kind of has killed that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
A shame. They get like an opportunity for progress, kind of like thwarted.
So I think one of the things that really sets the atmosphere of this movie is the weather, for sure. And I don't know, man. I really do think that, how do you feel about, I know I already asked you this, but how do you feel about Ebert's kind of interpretation of just, like, the movie landscape, like this setting being just kind of like an iconic movie setting that can just live in your mind along with the great movie settings, like, because I really do feel like this film does that to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. This is a really big moment in the movie, and we have kind of the rain to kind of accentuate that. Yeah, it's like kind of the heavens separating, or like it's kind of crying from all the sad stuff that's happened. It's about to give her something good in her life with Shug Avery, and I don't know. It's I will admit though, this does still kind of baffle me. Like, really? Now we saw her like kind of enamored with the picture of Shug Avery, but still, it's like she's like, hey, I'm gonna get gussied up as I can real quick here. Run upstairs and get gussied up.
You know what? I mean, I think it's less about the crush or whatever at this point, and more about like it's kind of like the social expectation at the time. I don't know.
I don't know. It's the fact that it's also like, really, you went upstairs and how was the mud not off your face when you rubbed? I don't know. Then we have like this kind of like the unusual kind of meet cute for these two. It's the whole, man, you sure is ugly.
Iconic moment.
Yep. So yeah, it's quite the unique circumstance. The woman that her husband is philandering on her with is staying in the house.
I kind of like that. I don't necessarily know how much Danny Glover is sort of privy to the fact that there's something going on between Shug and Seeley.
I think he's picking up on it.
As the movie goes on, they're both like equally in love with her to a certain extent.
Yeah, we do get to a real fun point where they're both like head over heels, like, oh, Shug's here. Shug.
Yeah.
Gotta get my Shug on.
Oh, God. Time to take my tablespoonful of Shug.
Just a spoonful of Shug helps that medicine go down.
Oh, my God. All right. Jesus Christ. I think we just turned that moment into a Family Guy gag.
All right. This is kind of ridiculous. I should know, like, his name was Albert.
That is one of the very few moments of the movie I was like, really?
And she knows the last name because it's on the mailbox.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, here we have just this is where we really start to kind of humanize and play a little bit of comedy within our drama here with Albert, where he's just totally incompetent in the kitchen. Basically, the idea he's completely pigeonholed it with when Suge Avery rolls in, and she basically was never she's never seen Albert in a position of weakness before until. Maybe I should rephrase it. Like she's seen him a little bit when he's struggling in the morning in getting ready for Suge Avery, but he's never seen him completely kowtow to a woman before, and that kind of like inspires her a little bit. Man, this show gave her something special. She's
and I think that in a way kind of like makes the feelings she has for Suge even stronger. The fact that Suge is the first person in her life that kind of like brought this dude down a peg.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it was also Sophia, but then she kind of chased Sophia away by accident. So, doing what she did. Yeah. So again, it's kind of like almost like I use like the Batman Begins comparison for a few things. Like we kind of go from father figure to father figure. In this case, we're going from mentor to mentor, and with the female figures with her.
So can I just say with Albert, just the verbal abuse this guy doles out, it's one of the hardest things to take in the movie, honestly.
I just love her watching him, is like in that rocking chair, and then of course when the kerosene comes out, she's very smart. I was like, okay, I'm out. This isn't
right.
Yeah. And again, there's that kind of the acting. Joyce again, she's just covering her face every time she smiles, like as a reflex. Good stuff. And again, you see kind of Danny Glover, like again, he would kind of play this stuff, but more in like kind of like kind of the earnest way with like Lethal Weapon here, where he's kind of playing it like, oh god, he's this guy is just so legitimately stupid. Kerosene, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's a great idea, dude.
And look at it, that's a great cut to the empty rocking chair and the fireball.
That's all. Is that like the best comedy cut in the whole movie? I think it might be.
Yeah, I mean the way
that's almost like a cartoon comedy cut.
I mean, either that or I won't, but yeah.
You almost expect her to be holding up like a wooden sign that just says "Nope."
That's the advertising campaign Jordan Peele should have adopted.
Oh God.
And kind of great use. Oh, by the way, because this I saw talked about during the scene. Spielberg.
Hold on, I just really love that Albert just goes through all these great lengths to make this meal, and we as an audience know it's going to be a terrible meal, but like he is so proud of it, man.
Absolutely. So again, we see she's a far superior cook, despite him insulting her cooking later. I mean, this meal looks pretty good, especially for like 1910s.
Color purple dining experience.
Yeah. Seriously, that's a tantalizing. Honestly, you think it? I thought.
No, it is a tantalizing breakfast.
I gotta be honest. That might be historically inaccurate breakfast. It looks too good.
Too good. It does look like a very tasty breakfast.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be that tasty. It's the 1910s. Too good. Anyway, well, there's pancakes. Those are really good looking pancakes. Anyway, sorry. Now I want breakfast. So when they did some originally, Spielberg for a bit was.
Love how she puts the tray in the door and just like flees.
Yeah, he's expecting to be thrown out the door. So
look at the mustard and ketchup just still on the wall.
Yeah. So Spielberg contemplated doing this film in black and white for a brief time before Alan Davio talked him out of it.
Oh, that would have been insane. I'm glad. Given the fucking title of the movie.
Yeah, that's what dawned on. I was like, oh right.
Yeah, that would have been fucking crazy, dude.
Again, that's why he contemplated and did like some initial just photos in black and white to see how it looked and realized wait a minute.
What if everything was in black and white except for purple?
Well, it would connect to Schindler's List, so
That would be interesting. I could see that if they did it that way, because obviously, for a movie called The Color Purple, you have to have the color purple in the movie.
Yep.
It's kind of a prerequisite.
Yep. So, let's see. All right. So, here's when we start with Suge Avery, because this is a big through line with her. We do pay off nicely. I admit we do kind of drop off of it for a while, but then again, what really much more do we need to say?
I think she has the least effective arc of the main characters, but I think that's kind of just a testament to like how epic the other arcs are.
Sure. Well, I mean, right now we're doing like this, like the pause scene where she talks about her her father, how things are on the rocks with her and her father. I believe, if I'm right, I think I'm right, is that her father's like the preacher, like the
yes, her father. Oh, wait, actually, I forgot about that.
That's what I'm saying. This
that is kind of the end of her arc, and it's still pretty epic.
That's what I was referring to, Teak. It's kind of like we touch on it like thrice. It's
yeah.
The ending where they have like the big, she walks into the church, and then you had that scene where she approaches him and he kind of just shuts him down. So that's the thing. So it's the idea that, again, like a troubled relationship with her father.
It is so a tiny bit half-baked compared to the other arcs. I will admit that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's sparing, but it gets the job done. I mean, it does. That's what I'm saying. It's like a part of me wants.
As we already kind of addressed, I think Shub's whole character is kind of like as far as like the screenplay goes, she's kind of, meant to support the other character. She's obviously like, oh, that's what a supporting character is, Tiki. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And again, it's kind of like a bit of a connector with like kind of the fatherly issues.
Yeah.
And again, the idea that music was kind of like, I imagine, if I'm a betting man, I'd imagine perhaps she started off in like a choir, which then kind of escalated into a direction that her father did not approve of, and then she became kind of like the town slut, essentially, which is kind of basically that's kind of the basically this guy, the father, who's kind of here, the old Mister is what they call him in the credits. When he stops by here,
he's a work.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I love that. I love the hat, though.
I mean, this is like systemic racism at its finest.
For sure, yeah, and I love that. What's great about this Steve with his introduction?
I'm sorry. I got to acknowledge the funny thing you said right now. This guy's a real piece of work, but I like his hat.
Yeah.
He does have a rather nice hat trick.
If they did a remake of this, Giancarlo would play the father, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I don't want to just typecast Giancarlo and everything, but
well, we gotta remember he was like some of the greats. Like
what about Kahlua in the Danny Glover role?
I think he absolutely killed that role. He did a great job.
I think so too. Yeah.
Anyway, what was I getting at?
They are making a remake, by the way.
Well, yeah, it's a musical though.
Yeah, it's a musical. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's kind of Anyway, what was I getting at? Oh, right. So it's already passed, but I love the bit where they kind of tells you everything you need to know about their relationship. Where the father's not happy, he's hanging out with Suge Avery, and he basically used to show the dominance and the influence that he has on him. The foot is like right in between the legs on the porch swing thing. The porch. And again, not happy. He's putting down Suge Avery, so she spits in his water. Rebellion.
Oh man.
Well, look at Danny Glover. This is what I'm saying. They're bringing out the humanity. He's like, you see everything you need to know about the relationship. One with that foot bit, but here too, where he looks like a scared little boy being talked at by his father.
Oh, this makes me gag a little bit, honestly.
I mean, the belch makes me kind of gag at the end there. Like, oh god, the downs.
Oh no! Don't do it.
No, not yet.
Especially post-COVID.
Yep.
I love how they draw it out. They draw out him taking a sip too.
You see her in the background, just kind of waiting for it.
Right. Oh man.
Yep. It's a good thing you didn't ask for lemonade. Well, she says it in the movie, which
she does. Look at her. She's just like, do it. Fucking do it.
It's like, I hate this guy. Do it. If he doesn't like this guy, what does that tell you?
Right.
Give him his hat. He's a well-dressed man. I'll give him that.
Yeah, we've already established this.
And the idea too, I believe, is that also with there again with the kind of the history here, I think with Celia's father as well. Like the parents came for money. So yeah, like her father and his father both are probably black men who came for money. I'm not sure how that happened, but I guess basically land ownership, I believe, is the main thing.
There we go.
Yep.
Look at her smile in the back.
Yeah, she's
to
cover it, but
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Without the cover, yeah.
It's coming out of the show.
Yeah, he drank it all, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. So yeah, let's see. So again, they're they've been. Oh yeah, okay. Now we're building the juke joint. I believe we're building the club, a little kind of club on the
my favorite location in the movie, and I love how it kind of becomes a character in its own right.
I like that it's called Harpo's. I like that Harpo is kind of given the business. Also, did you know?
Harpo is such a classic 1920s name, is it not?
I wonder if you put this together, or you probably heard it from somewhere. The whole one of the things they realized in the room when Oprah came to read for the part is like Spielberg pointed out. Wait a minute, Harpo, Oprah, Harpo.
I did hear that. Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like oh, look, he fell
That's
again.
Really heady to think about.
Yeah,
it's meant to be.
Here's an old-timey thing. I imagine there's bringing it over, but think about it, though. So, if this was an actual like draw of something they did, like, hey, piano on the little water, like on the
that's absolutely something they did in the South, yeah.
Feels like a bad idea, doesn't it?
I mean, Disneyland did this.
Oh yeah, I was saying, especially before we like regulate and all protected and everything. It's just like, hey, let's just on a little raft.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Dragon. The people in the South love their jazz, and they also love their rivers.
Did you notice who Swain is?
No.
It's Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh really? Oh wow! Look at that. Very young Lawrence Fishburne.
Very young, early Lawrence Fishburne.
Is this like pre-Cowboy Curtis Lawrence Fishburne?
I mean, well,
ironically enough, he's handling a cow.
Let's see. I mean, do you remember what year the Pee Wee Herman show was? Pee Wee's Playhouse.
I mean, I want to say it was post Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Let's see. Was Pee Wee's Big
Adventure was like what, like the late '80s? I want to say.
If it was the late '80s, then like, I'm just saying though, like, this is '85.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was pre Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, again, just the atmosphere here, man. It's like I hate keeping. I hate having to keep pulling up that Roger Ebert quote, but I really think it's valid here. It's like you could just feel everything about this room. You know what I mean? It's so immersive. Like just the people hanging from the rafters and the smoke and the light coming through the ceiling. It's utterly just immersive, don't you think? Just the way it's shot.
It is, and this is Alan Davio lighting, by the way. Unfortunately, it's passed, but he does, of course, did tremendous work, and this is a great example of it. I will say, just think again, hot take. Shug Avery, I gotta be honest, until later in the film, for me, I don't get the attraction. I mean, I get the character, the attraction to the character. I'm just saying, like, physically though.
Physical attraction.
What?
Just on purely a physical level.
Yeah, on a physical level, I think honestly, I just think everyone's kind of hard up for a woman who's like this. Like, I think every woman who's not this beaten down or just like a child bride. I think that's.
Dragon. I think that's kind of the point. Yeah,
I just say it's just kind of it's like, yeah, like just because the rest of them aren't wearing like the red sequin dress, that's the only thing that differentiates her from the rest of the women.
Okay, Dragon, I'm not gonna talk about the physical looks of Shug Avery and whether.
I'm saying I think she looks.
Whether or not she's appropriately attractive, Dragon. I'm not gonna go there.
I'm just saying I like later on where she's kind of like she's kind of added like basically the idea like she's kind of like that's the draw of her act of like, hey, I'm sexual for the times. Where later on it's like a lot more kind of casual and she's not putting on the bells and whistles. I think I think it comes across more attractive and sure. To the character. I think it kind of brings out like kind of an inner beauty that's there. Where here it's like bells and whistles and like kind of like gaudiness.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, so again, there's her father, right? There's the preacher. I believe I'm trying to remember if this is the scene where. Oh yeah, but there's something neat in the editing though. We're kind of paralleling them, just kind of building up when they meet.
The movie has a few things that does this. Kind of like the parallel, sort of jumping back and forth between the two things.
Yeah,
Miss Seeley's Blues.
Now he saw earlier they were bonding, so I think he's kind of picking up on the fact that right at this point that there might be something going on.
I love how flattered, but at the same time, kind of like, oh no, you're calling me out in public. It's a great reaction that she has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, well, again, actually, yeah, this is after Temple of Doom, so not the first time, but still a very rare time before we go to years and years later for something we covered this year. Spielberg doing a musical, or at least a musical number. Yeah. In between this and the opening of Temple of Doom, it's...
Sure.
Yeah. What was the song in Temple of Doom?
Anything goes.
Right, yeah.
Anything goes.
That's a good song. Yeah.
It is.
There she's covering that smile.
Yep. That's an iconic shot right there, I think.
Yeah. Alan Delvia, man, such a great DP, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this movie is just so lived in. It's so of its time period.
Yeah.
But it's also heightened. It's not really trying to. It's not really trying to beat you down with with real world sort of detail. Instead, I feel like it's trying to paint this sort of movie sort of picture of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I believe she's singing the Sister song right now, isn't she? So of course, Sister very much of kind of an indicative of Nettie, and again, kind of showing that she's kind of incorporating the spirit of Nettie, one could say. But again, this is the thing. It's a question if it probably works in favor of the film ultimately. The fact that we don't make it a relationship kind of helps her film in more as kind of a Nettie figure than.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's I feel like what we get of the relationship, frankly, is pretty damn progressive for 1985.
Yeah.
And in the world we live in of people throwing bitch fits over Lightyear, it's pretty progressive even nowadays. So,
well, yeah, yes. I guess what I'm getting at, Tiki, is I think that it's the implication. The implication is enough as it stands, but it feels like if it were made today, we would have just made. Here's the thing, though, Tiki. It kind of feels like today, if they were to make this, it would have been boxed. I think it would have boxed it in of a thing where it's and here's the obligatory thing we have to do versus the progressiveness of what it was, which makes it a little more special.
Sure, I hear you. I hear you.
That pops a little bit more, so it's kind of appreciate that. Man, we walked up to the line and we didn't have it kind of I mean, there's a degree of which, had it happened then, it still might have been. I think it would have played better than it would now, even if they did go further with it. Which Spielberg kind of has an interview said he kind of regrets maybe not going as far as it did.
I mean, I honestly don't really know how much further you could have gone with it.
Well, in the book was basically I forget how.
No, I mean, you could certainly go further with it on a sexual level. I just don't know how much that would improve the film. That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. Spielberg, he made a choice. The way he phrased it, he kind of made a choice as a green director. He was a little shying away from it because, again, he didn't really do sexy stuff all that much. And it was kind of that, and it's a territory that was kind of taboo at the time. And it was sort of it kind of scared. Again, you can see him playing scared a little bit in the whole, I'm adapting a book, and this is an element of the book that might play controversial in 85. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I think he played scared. I think ultimately I agree with you for the right reasons. But, it still stands. It would have been interesting to see, but it would have maybe changed the film or added something that would have been did we need that?
I mean, we'll certainly see more of it in the remake, I would imagine.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
That might be a good opportunity to compare.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so here we have, we have this, it's kind of funny. We have the boxer here who's with Sophia. And just the fact that, again, he's a guy who could throw a punch, could very easily be a wife beater, but he's not, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, the fact they're on good terms, the separation that's going on, and they're kind of in a unique place, kind of somewhat of an open marriage. And then we have old Squeaky here. I got to admit, now Squeaky does have a payoff. It's a really thrown in payoff.
I mean, I don't necessarily think she's supposed to be a major character, though.
I don't know. I feel like later on when Squeaky has her big, and I have a name now, don't you think it's a little bit more yeah, you just wanted to say something in this scene, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah,
I helped also.
I'm another female character in this movie.
I do feel that, yeah.
This honestly could have been the end of it where she's just I'm with Hoppo, and then she calls her heifer and laughs with a really annoying voice, and then gets punched that she shouldn't. Yeah. This is like the one time a woman actually needed to be abused in the movie.
Whoa, okay, hold on there, Buckaroo.
No. I mean, in terms of like her punching.
Don't get us canceled, bro.
I mean, in terms of her, she insulted.
Oh, I hear you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, of context, obviously, it sounds terrible, but of like a woman abusing a woman.
Just like, yeah, I think this woman should have gotten beat.
I'm gonna say this is a well-deserved punch.
God.
Very irritating, insulted her unnecessarily, and kind of vaguely annoying. So yeah, kind of like
fair enough.
And it leads to this kind of this hilarious bar fight.
I
think I like that again. Fundamentally bad father, not a smart man, but he's gonna stand up for the boy. He's gonna run up, get off my boy. If I remember, this kind of leads us to, again, to the Shug here. She basically like, hey, I'm going to whisk her away and we're going to have some private time.
I'm pretty sure that's where it goes. Yeah, I'm pretty
sure. Trying on the red dress and everything. So I think that's what this directly leads to. And again, see, the Goldberg's performance here. One could say, whoopee, it's Goldberg. She did a great job.
Yes, one could say whoopee.
Whoopee! Anyway, so she, her enamored reaction to the excitement here is quite fun.
Yes. She, and again, I feel like her transformation throughout this movie, it's like she's still kind of a broken character at this point, in spite of kind of coming out of her shell a little bit, just because her reaction is more it's a positive reaction to the situation, but it's not necessarily an appropriate one, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a childlike reaction.
Well, it's absolutely a childlike reaction.
Yeah. So I'm saying it's nice, as the arc goes forward for her character, it's nice that it's we can still kind of be concerned for her in the fact that she's very behind developmentally. Whereas, by the end of the movie, when she does her big epic, Thanksgiving monologue, it's that is an adult woman in her prime,
Yeah. Here's some of the adorable smile stuff here. How darn cute is Whoopi?
Okay, the smile stuff. Yeah, I think that's probably the defining part of Whoopi Goldberg's performance is the way she does the smile. I really do.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the first scene for Celie where she's really liberated.
Yeah, I agree. I love the symbolism here, and this is what I'm saying. This kind of conveys everything you need to with the relationship, where she's holding the hands down. Apparently, in the book, this scene with the hands might have gone a little sexual, but they kind of opted out of that, and it kind of plays.
Really I think that's very appropriate that it doesn't go sexual because it is intimate, but it's intimate in a character kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the hands thing is kind of one of the biggest thematic cruxes of the whole movie. And I think if you go sexual with it, it would maybe kind of distract from how pivotal this thing is from a character point of view. Yeah. That's my whole thing.
Yeah. As I was saying, we also get into the sadness here of Shug Avery. Another reason she's kind of happy that she's around is when Shug Avery's around, Albert's in a better mood. When she leaves, the beatings commence again.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a moment coming up pretty quick when Shug leaves for the first time. That's pretty damn heartbreaking.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And again, we kind of summed it up so perfectly there. Just he beats me for not being you. Because the idea is he was looking for just someone to take care of the kids, and it's probably he came in contact with Shug Avery, and then of course
right, and he didn't even want her; he wanted her sister.
Yeah, that's the thing. He wanted Nettie, and then he couldn't get Nettie, so he settled for the third. Again,
this is very much an unloving marriage, very much so, unequivocally.
Yeah, it's very much like a marriage of convenience, but in the worst way possible.
Yeah, for sure.
One could say it's a marriage of inconvenience. I was how we're kind of framing the whole he do his business it sounds like he's going to do your business going to the bathroom. It's like going to the toilet.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think she, like, look at her right now. I'm just saying, without all the bells and whistles and the sequence and everything, looking a lot better already.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you. I hear you.
It gets better in the movie too as it goes on. Like hearing this kind of, especially as it springs forward, it looks really nice. Yep. And again, it's like a nice intimate conversation between between the women. And again, just the fact that she's finding someone she can talk to and relate to on just any level. Like again, kind of replacing the void that is her sister's, replacing that relationship, which again is the most intimate she had up to that point.
And this is pretty much like the halfway point of the movie too, which is interesting to note.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess it's about that.
It's like 1:15 out of the 2.5 hours. Do the math.
Okay.
Just saying it.
I was gonna call him back. Yeah, you said you sure is ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was just salt in the sugar.
Salt in the sugar.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was either that mirror scene or this scene is one they would have taken the turn. Which again, ultimately they didn't do, and it's good that they didn't do it. So
yeah.
Yep. Do you ever see any of Whoopi Goldberg in Star Trek Next Generation? By the way,
no, nothing but like brief clips.
Well, that's what I mean, like brief.
Like I hate to admit it, but like the live action Whoopi Goldberg thing that kind of comes to mind for me is fucking Monkey Bone of all things, and Sister Act, of course.
What about when she played God in Muppet, the Muppet Christmas?
I mean, she pretty much plays Satan in Sister Act, but
it's kind of funny though.
I thought it's Satan in Sister Act. I'm sorry, that's a funny fucking dumb statement for me to make in Monkey Bone. Right. Not in Sister Act.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering. Wait a minute. Did you have a complete different read on that movie?
Twist. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, now I'm just picturing Sister Act with that as the ending.
For me, like, every time I think of Whoopi Goldberg, I always think of like her playing God. Yeah, did a really good job. Also,
like I said, in Monkey Bone, I do think she is like literally the devil.
One thing Whoopi Goldberg apparently in real life does like SpongeBob.
Oh, nice. And
that wasn't just like a throwaway line. Apparently, she really digs SpongeBob. I don't know if I keep up with it or not, but I imagine the first 3 seasons, big fan. Like the rest of us.
Of course.
Yeah.
The first 3 seasons are the ones that matter.
They are, and the movie.
And the movie, of course.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is Spielberg probably basically towing the line of
this is the important conversations that people tune into Spielberg month for.
Does Whoopi like SpongeBob? Yes, she does. Tune in 11.
Oh my God! Breaking news.
Gentlemen, I don't know how to tell this to you, but I'm gonna try and find the words. American icon Whoopi Goldberg does indeed.
Oh my God!
Like SpongeBob.
And that's hard-hitting journalism, man. Where's our Pulitzer?
Yeah, take that, Oprah. Put the book out. All right, so so here's the big scene. Here's the second kind of part of her arc here, where you have her, having her scene with her father, and
I do think she gets a reasonable amount of screen time with it, and this is a pretty emotionally effective moment, I think. Just how cool the dude is to her.
Yeah,
it's like he's the preacher. He's trying to preach acceptance and goodwill towards man and everything like that, but he can't even look his daughter in the eye.
And again, it's kind of like we explore a number of the different, mostly horrific kind of male relationships with women here. In this case, we see we've seen the outwardly abusive relationship here. It's kind of like just kind of cutting it off, like kind of cutting off the it's kind of the cold, kind of the separation.
Sure.
Kind of losing your father in a different way versus losing your father in like the trust of her father, or losing a father in the sense of he died or something like that.
No, and I feel like in a way this is like almost like a worse fate than losing your father to death, just because it's like, he is like so, you know what I mean? It's like a death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing every time you interact with him.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like the man's not saying a word. He's not looking at her. He's not acknowledging her. And again, just the fact that that this dude is a preacher of all things.
Yeah, and again, like, going by the Bible, he probably finds everything she does, or at least everything she represents, even if she doesn't do everything that people speculate that she does. She's kind of an offense to him.
Right.
It's a walking offense. And that's the thing. I was saying, her phrasing like that. I know you can't say nothing to me anymore because of what you believe in. I just thought I'd say hello. That's what's really sad. Like the fact she accepts that her father is going to be silent, not say. She went into the scene.
And that's all she wants to say to him, and he can't even reciprocate that.
Can't even look at her.
Yeah.
Okay. Here. Oh god, this is so sad. Here, just like, I want to go to Memphis.
Oh god.
And it's just.
Yeah. Oh, this is tough, man. This is tough.
Yep.
It's like she's making all these plans, and it's like the second Albert sees her package, he's like, I know you're fucking up to something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what she was thinking of putting all that yarn in that one bag for a second there. That wasn't going to fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like at this point there is kind of like that developmental thing where it's like she's not quite there, where it's like you have to wonder, like, even if she did go to Memphis, would she be ready for it? Like, it'd probably be better than being here, but, I do like that there is a solid arc of her, like, actually being ready to strike out on her own.
Yeah. And again, the doubt before she eventually does it by the third.
Right.
I just want to note this too, because again, I'm just kind of like pointing out the other characters. While a monster, very dapperly dressed, the Albert character. Because like now, I mean, looking at him, it was really nice.
After his father that way.
What?
He takes after his father that way.
Yes, he does.
His father raised him right in one regard.
Yeah, in one regard, yeah. He's dumb as a
now, son, if you beat your wife, you gotta look good doing it.
And so did Harpo. Harpo's
oh my god,
good fashion, terrible interpersonal relationships, but great fashion sense.
Oh man, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus, yeah, this might be one of the moments that I can relate most to my mom of like, just like, I don't want to get too personal with it, but there's been moments in my life where I'm like, damn it, just get in the damn car, Mom,
Later on, the whole crux is like, get in the car, Miss Seeley.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
scared state, girl.
That door closed. It's just so sad.
It's just so like, oh man. And then this motherfucker, like, yeah, I would. I'm gonna miss you too, baby.
Yep. And just, that's what I'm saying. You kind of see.
And then just like straight up, like dropping to her knees.
And you see her with that bag, and the implication being that was her go bag.
Oh man, not even to her knees, just flat out, just tumble to the ground.
I'm saying, I love that he like says, "Oh shoot!" Now the question is why he says, "Oh shoot." I like to think he's saying, "Oh shoot," because like now I got to drag her back.
Yeah, it's like I think it's also just like now I'm stuck with this one.
Okay, most powerful story in the film could have been a movie in itself. The Sophia stuff we're doing right now, this is the stuff I love in the movie. This whole like, here's the thing. You can make the argument. Well, here's the thing. Because we pay it off later in the big dinner.
Oh, this scene, bitch! This fucking bitch!
Yeah, so that's the thing. So ultimately, you could make the argument that you literally could have cut all this out of the movie, but it's so strong and it does kind of correlate. We call it back in the end in the dinner scene, but it's so great though, and I love it. You had to put this in there.
I mean, if you cut this out, it'd be a 2-hour movie instead of a 2.5-hour movie, but you would not get the full payoff to her character.
So, just dear God. So again, I like that, almost like Blood in the Water, like a joke.
I hate this woman with a burning fucking passion.
As you should, and as do
I really fucking do.
So again, I love the hypocrisy and just the casual.
This is literally like you said, Dragon. This is like the one instance of racism personified in this film.
Yeah, and again, I love everything about this scene. Also, I love Lawrence Fishburne. He's like, "No, Miss Sophia, no." So that's the thing. I love how tense we play this, and it's like the worst nightmare. It's like you and we're like, it was like built into Sophia's defining character trait. Like she wouldn't take abuse.
And
like,
I hate to say it, but given the police situation, it's crazy to think that this kind of thing could still theoretically go down.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, and I mean, technically, you just labeled the mayor like Millie, like a Karen or something, it would definitely be relevant. So yeah,
Right, right, exactly, exactly.
no, it's definitely relevant. I'm just saying, I love the hypocrisy and the casual, like in quotes, like this is like an enlightened racism of like, oh no, I love black people, and just the
Oh,
insensitivity.
that
Like, you
just
should be
infuriates me even more, though.
well, you should be my maid, and like usually, basically using her as a maid to see her kids. Like she likes, like, oh, little black children, how cute. So again, it's almost like indoctrinating her and her kids as slaves, essentially, and kind of like, oh no, it's not slavery.
Sheriff,
Don't pick.
God, her yelling for help from the sheriff, and the sheriff just flat out just striking her with a gun. Jesus,
just cold cocks her like right in the head.
uh huh.
That's what I'm saying. All of that is just utterly just I think the biggest tragedy of the film and just so powerful and is the
Oh,
fact that again like
absolutely,
she's
absolutely.
like I love how she looks after her child.
One
It's
of
a
the
mama bear
time jump
defending
in the movie too, right?
what?
Is this one of the biggest time jumps in the movie?
Well, it's 8 years, so probably. Yeah, well, yeah, actually, yeah, I think you're right.
All the time jumps are roughly around 8 years now that we say it.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, yeah.
I guess this one just feels more significant just because of how fucked up everything gets.
I mean, look at her. I mean, she's been.
This is like if the one scene with I'll kill him dead didn't win her an Oscar, well, this isn't going to either, but it should have. It should have, damn it.
So seriously, just the whole the whole she goes into protective mama bear mode during that scene, and just the fact that again, it's like ultimately the fact that she goes to prison for 8 years and she is now subservient and she has no choice in the matter. So it's literally slavery.
It is like living hell. It's straight up living fucking hell.
And even then, like before the offer was like, no, we'll pay you as a maid. I don't even know if she's getting paid at this point. If show, it's probably a low. It's awful. It's this whole situation. She's taken away from her kids. It's a terrible situation. And like you have this lady who's like just completely insensitive and out of her gourd, just ditzy, and just not like picking up on like, look at what you're putting this poor woman through, you insensitive monster. And it's like, this woman has no sense. Again, she's overprivileged, has no sense of reality. Of like, look at me, I'm driving really well. People are running and fleeing from.
Oh my god, yeah.
Not to die.
It's like the one bit of levity we get from this fucking monster, but
I mean, still though, it's like terrifying levity. She's gonna kill someone in that car.
Right, right.
I mean, it's an old timey car, so maybe it's not gonna like outright kill him, but still.
All right, very significant moment here.
Yeah, and this is basically inspires her speech later on when she kind of like when Celie very beautifully helps her friend out here.
And I feel like it's one of the themes of the movie is just like like you don't even have to say anything or acknowledge anything. Just seeing the presence of someone can be enough to just get you through sometimes.
Not a word is said. She just mouths "thank you" silently, like when she's in the car after. All this is, and just look at how touched she is here, and like the quiver of the lip of like how like the again she's sensing God in this moment, like she says later. So it's,
right, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like look at the makeup and everything. The fact that they gave her like the permanent black eye from all the beating she suffered, probably from the white man in jail, and she has a limp now compared to. Remember, she had that iconic walk where she walked like kind of a powerful, kind of swaying.
Sure, of course.
And now she limps. Oh, it's so sad. Look at that limp. It's like she walked big and powerful. Now she's just kind of big and limber.
It's basically literally just like being a shell of yourself.
That's what I'm saying. She went from being this awesome free spirit to she's the saddest version of a mammy you've ever seen in your life.
Totally.
It's like not even like Gone with the Wind, mammy. It's like it's a sad version of that.
No, Gone with the Wind, mammy had sass.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a
this woman has no sass. Life has outsassed this woman.
Yeah. And this is the cruelest thing of all here is the fact.
Oh, this is I mean, I would say outside of the actual literal Holocaust, this might be the most evil thing that any character ever does in a Spielberg movie.
We got to go over a long list, but probably, yeah.
I mean, this is just horrific, man. It's just fucking horrific.
I mean, we'll get to it when it happens in a few moments here, but like with the one, but basically, which just coldly says that won't work either. Like that. Oh yeah, look at this. This is what the dichotomy here, which is like so smiling, like you can spend all day with your family.
I hate people like this woman. People like this woman just get under my skin so fucking much, man.
So again, it's just so sad to see her as a victim when she was so sad.
Can I list a real life example, Dragon?
I I mean, I guess.
So I used to do caregiving, right? Like very, very briefly for like a few months.
Yeah.
And the family that I caregived for, they did go to a church. And, so I joined I just liked the church's Facebook page just as, oh, okay, like I'll, just basically as a friendly sort of like, like, hey, if I, like I'll get in with them a little bit. Like, I'm not religious by any means. But then, Dragon, about a week ago, I see this church making some fucking insane post about Lightyear. And suffice to say, Dragon, I'm not going to defend Lightyear as a movie, but I will defend Lightyear to the death from anyone who is like, oh, Lightyear has a lesbian kiss. It's terrible. And, Dragon, the things that this church said, this church that I was not necessarily a part of, but I was kind of welcomed into, I don't know, man, that sort of two-faced fucking treachery, just the fact that it exists in the real world just really, it gets under my skin very viscerally to me. Anyways, that's a fun story, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Anyway. So
the fact that she can't even recognize her kids literally have to reintroduce themselves to her.
Yeah, that's the saddest.
Look at that sad little fucking snowman, dude. That is the saddest snowman.
I was gonna bring up the little snowman with the tiny little head.
That is the saddest snowman in the history of film, dude.
Also, I love you're right though. I love the touch. Like we saw her holding that baby when she was getting married to Harpo, and now it's like saying, "My name's Emma."
Oh God! Oh, this fucking bitch! This bitch!
Oh, chew her out once she's in a minute.
No, I'm just saying, she's just sitting there like, look at this good deed that I've done.
Look at this.
I hate her, Dragon. It drives me fucking nuts.
Look at the bit with Harpo. It was really nice. Like, it's showing like the forgiveness, and he feels bad about what's happened to her. And she's
totally, yeah.
We're good, like kind of leading him into the house, which is nice.
Yeah, totally.
And again, Oprah Britt killing it again with that great line. I don't know y'all no more. It's like, oh, it's so sad.
Oh my God.
We take a drink every time we say so sad.
Right, dear God.
Even Squeaky's nicer to her now. look at Squeaker old preggers.
Oh man.
And I love how like they're very accepting, very loving, and again, it's just so like you can clock it if you have like a little stopwatch. You're like, let's see, about a minute, maybe at most.
Literally, like in real fucking time. Yes.
There's like a minute with her family compared to like the whole day, compared to like a 24-hour window.
Obviously, I don't need to restate it. I am getting just real pissed just watching this again, especially because I know what's coming now.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you know what's coming just makes the scene even worse on a rewatch, right?
It does, because ordinarily you just like would write it off, and I'm like, when you're watching it for the first time, oh, she's just driving off at this point, she'll be back tomorrow. Like, no, it's like, well, we're seeing it now. Like, oh God, why is she just driving off? Initially, what I thought was going to happen was she was going to wreck and maybe kill or injure herself, and she was going to get in trouble. That's initially what I thought. The way this was kind of edited, but then, oh God, when I saw them rushing to the car to help her after she was crashing into everything, it's like, I know where this is going. This is not going to be pretty.
Oh yeah,
This whole just the overprivileged woman who again is so accepting.
I mean, it's just literally like a minute ago, she was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm the progressive white woman."
Yeah, she thinks like she's insulated in the black community because she's like, I've always been good to the colored people.
But then, the second that people even literally fucking approach her. It's this woman
like the utter privileged terror on this woman's face.
Dragon, she is more evil than any of the Indiana Jones Nazis.
Yeah, she doesn't kill people, but yes, she does terrible things though.
I'm saying she's less evil than the real world Schindler's List Nazis.
Okay.
But the fun Indiana Jones Nazis, no.
Okay, anyway, I wouldn't go too heavy into the Nazi comparisons, but it's not great. I think we can.
I'm saying, I don't know, I would.
Anyway, she's very terrible. It's just.
She is like the worst kind of human.
Yes, she's very. Sure. Anyway, and again, she's like putting it on them. They tried to attack me. It's like, oh God, you.
Just the fact that she will not hear these people out whatsoever. These people are like sacks of meat to her.
Yeah. Well, again, they're more like it's just so ridiculous. The fact that like, oh, I know I have one black friend, and that's all I'm used to, and that's all I'm okay with. And just the general populace of just like many black people approached me. I'm not going to open my mind to that. Like, no. And just the fact that like like he won't let her like a trusted friend like a one-on-one thing, even if it's like the acknowledgement that we're not just going to take the time to get to know. Like, look, I know a lot of them approach you and you got scared, but it's like, what if it was a one-on-one thing? Like, and this is the cold moment right now. This is the tragedy. It's like, I don't know either. But look at the firmness in the eyes. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that's going to infuriate you. I'm sure it's like that little sneer she gave very briefly after she said that. That's like that's her firmly saying, "You're taking me home."
Oh yeah.
Despite all the pleasantries and the niceties, and it's like, oh, woe is me. What was my problem? You haven't seen your kids in 8 years. You had 1 minute with them to take me home.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. That was a hard to get through.
I do like this is a great transition though. Like we had like the old timey car to a better car, a 30s car. Yeah.
Shug. And again, I feel like at this point, it's like I'm not really sure how I read their relationship, but like, I don't know. It's like Danny Glover on some level must know that something's going on, and he must on some level be okay with it. How do you read that?
Yes. Well, this thing, yes, I think he knows that something's going on. I don't think he thinks it's going to go anywhere, but I think he ultimately believes it's, even so, I think he's cocky enough to think, oh, no, she'll always pick me.
Sure.
This is kind of funny, though. Them as kind of like romantic rivals, then united in like distaste for, well, not a distaste of jealousy, because I mean, ultimately, Seeley does like, this is a nice
Miss Millie, I heard so much about you. Feels like we're old friends.
Like, Brady is a legitimately nice guy, as we see.
This dude looks like prototype Steve Harvey.
It looks like, it's kind of like, what if you took, well, I'd say more like Duke Ellington, but kind of like Steve Harvey meets Duke Ellington.
Right.
Yeah, it looks a lot like, seriously, he looks a lot like Duke Ellington. But
I can see that. I can see that now that you say it.
Like,
yeah.
What if you gave Duke Ellington like a Steve Harvey mustache?
Right.
I don't remember if Duke Ellington had a mustache or not. That's the thing.
I think he did.
I think he
did. Sure he did.
I think it's just kind of straight. It looks like Duke Ellington.
At least in the awful show that shall not be named, he did.
Huh.
I'm talking about Big Mouth.
Right. I didn't know Duke Ellington was in that, or at least a parody of Duke
His
Ellington.
ghost is in that show.
I thought that ghost was like Billy D. Williams or something.
No, it's literally Duke Ellington.
Well, I'm just going off the record of Duke Ellington. That's the way you should go off of Duke Ellington, the record.
Right.
So it's Easter, and all of our big stuff happens at Easter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of weird though when these guys are kind of bonding? There's like smashing eggs on each other's faces. I mean, I know there's old timey things, but even then, as far as old timey things, they're getting married doing the cake smash.
Right.
Like, we like each other. That's the thing. This guy's insane and likable, even though he's like a romantic rival. It's like, you know what? You're okay. Yeah. And also the mailman, he's using a car now instead of the instead of the horse.
This movie's like it's got like a little carousel of progress in the background happening.
So apparently it's like, Albert's been so on the ball, traditional. Oh, this bit's sad too, like where father just drives by, like, I got married, love me. Oh
God. Yeah.
And, like, he speeds it up. That's the thing. He's not even just gonna like go by casually, it's like he speeds it up. Oh, look at that! I'm saying.
I forgot about that little bit. I think I missed that little bit when I first watched it. So yeah, there's a nice little setup to the ending.
Yeah. Anyway, So back to Albert's been so on the ball. He's just gotten all of these letters. This is like the one time where, well, we learned they aren't coming 24/7. They're coming during the holidays. This is like the perfect stars aligning for this moment, which I do absolutely buy in the plot here. We're okay. So
I do too. Yeah.
And that's where we're going to have the big reveal, and I love that's going to
fates align.
Yeah.
I love how the mailbox is also like, like outside of the rocking chair, it might be one of the big symbolic objects of the movie.
Yeah, I think they drew each other on their eggs or something. Because
God. They did.
Because I think that's supposed to be him. I think there's like a little
mustache
on his egg.
Oh, these two. Oh my God, it's kind of adorable, Dragon.
Right?
Oh God, I just want a sitcom with these two.
Yeah. It's like, did you ever see Lethal Weapon 4?
No, I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all good. Just I think 4 is not the best. 4 is good. It's just not as strong as the other three. The point being, in 4 there's
Oh
a
my
laugh.
god, these two are just straight up having a bromance over there, dude.
I know. So Lethal Weapon 4, there's a laughing gas scene. So Danny Glover's just like laughing his head off for a scene.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and like they're interrogating a
Does
guy
he
in a.
possess any dark secrets like Helga Pataki?
Well, secrets come out, and it's kind of funny though.
Oh, okay, that is kind of funny. I kind of called that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're interrogating a guy at the dentist office, and they're using the laughing gas to do it. And basically, then like the other guy's saying, I got your daughter pregnant." All right. So yes, the letter. Bum bum bum. Print. Well, more like handwriting, but it's stationary.
Can I just say, Dragon? Like, I think the pace of this movie. You might disagree with this, but I think the pace of this movie, for as long as it is like very, very it's got a lot of momentum to it.
Oh, I agree. Honestly, my pacing issue is about to happen. I think everything up to this point.
And I do kind of agree with the pacing issue you do have. I think I don't maybe. By the way, I love I think it's supposed to be like a flower or something that's in the letter.
I believe so too. Yeah, it's like a flower or a leaf or something. It looks like a leaf.
That's a great touch. That's a great like kind of bringing you back to the senses of childhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dragon, I do agree that the montage of finding the letters it's a little overblown. I will agree.
Well, not so much finding the letters, more of like when I think we check in with Nettie a little too long, or at least it just kind of like our transition. Here's the problem.
Because Nettie I almost kind of feel like we should have checked in, like if Nettie is going to get this much screen time all in the third act, I almost kind of feel like we should have checked in with her before the third act, if that makes sense.
I mean, honestly, Tiki, what it is for me is that this scene right here, when she just gets the initial letter and when it's revealed, like,
that's pretty much all we need, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It played on the performance, and we revealed the necessary information that's the really emotional. But by the way, I want to highlight this. We haven't highlighted it at all during this. We have to highlight at least once. Quincy Jones did the score on this, not John Williams, and Quincy Jones did a phenomenal job with the score because I love the score of this movie.
There's one musical beat in particular that very much feels like a prototype of the Jurassic Park. Da, 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 da,
it feels a little like kind of Randy Newman score to me.
You know what I'm talking about? The beat I'm talking about, though.
Well, yeah, I think so. It's more.
I think it's kind of like da da da. I don't know. It's very Jurassic Park-esque in moments.
Well, my point is, I don't know. Kind of like a Randy Newman vibe with the emotional, kind of like assisted kind of moments in the film with the Quincy Jones score. His point being, I think this whole moment here is played really, really nicely here, and so I think we reveal that her kids were like the score that comes into play, particularly when it's like, and we basically we took in these kids, and these kids were Olivia and Adam, which again, small world, but it's a beautiful idea.
Oh god, Dragon, the emotion that is going to come from fucking Adam, dude. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm not prepared to relive it.
And this is what I'm saying. Like right now, she's like learning that her children are alive, and they did find homes, and they were with her sister, which is like the best thing that you could ever imagine. So that's what I'm saying. This is like beautifully played. Not saying just this reaction alone is the fact that she's armed with all the information she needs. If anything, okay, she finds there are more letters. And I don't really need to see what Nettie's been up to or what she's doing. All we need to know from there is like, and we could have put it in a letter, is that we want it. I think we even say it here. I think we mentioned the immigration thing here. I'm not sure. Actually, no, we mentioned the immigration thing later. So I'm saying if we work that immigration line, there's trouble in our country. We're trying to come back. That's all we needed to add here, and we didn't need to really see any of the other stuff. It's cool to see, and the big thing that we get out of that is the tribal like ceremony. That's the only thing we need to intercut into the shaving scene. But even that, it's tense enough. You don't really need that, but it does add like an extra really cool layer. So that's kind of the biggest thing we get out of the Africa cuts.
Sure.
I mean, that's honestly, Tiki, what it feels like to me with the pacing. This is what I'm talking about. My main thing in the movie, which is not a problem. It's just something I kind of feel with the movie, is that you can feel Spielberg playing scare in the hole. He's under the gun to adapt as much as he can, with exceptions from the book, in which I'm sure the Africa stuff was in the book. I don't know for a fact, but I have to assume that's probably why it's in there.
No doubt, yeah.
So it feels like he had to fit it in somewhere, and I think they edited the best they could in terms of, okay, well, we really have to work that into the razor scene. That's a really cool way we can work that in there. but we have to just kind of thread the needle, and that's why it's kind of like
I mean, the razor scene is very cinematic, and I feel like that's a great example of like taking something that's probably in the book and adapting it for the sake of a movie. You know what I mean?
I'm saying that turned out fantastic. Yeah, that's And right now they're looking for the other letters, and they're seeing that they find Albert's stash where he has like cash and pictures of nude white women, which again I'm sure is insulting to them. Let's see. Initially I don't think this is the case. Initially I was thinking perhaps. Well, no, I was really something pointless. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to move on from there.
Okay.
I want to stop myself before I just like waste some time.
All right. I respect the restraint.
All right.
I don't know, but I do think that this section of the movie, it's like there is a little bit of a forward momentum of like, oh, look how much is kind of coming to light. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of hits some of the same beats a little too often.
Well, I mean, I like the big thing we're getting here that's going to take us to the important stuff is, she's upset with Albert, so she's knocking things over, and she's getting a little less scared of him.
Right, for sure, which is all part of, like, the larger arc that she has throughout the movie of, kind of, like, gaining her independence. That's going to kind of climax with that Thanksgiving dinner. But we're getting closer to that for sure. That's kind of like the big thread.
I still think I could be wrong. I could have sworn it's still Easter because they were making that turkey for Easter and they're eating the turkey at the dinner. So
you're probably right. I'm probably thinking Thanksgiving just because
because we all think turkey with the Thanksgiving. So, yeah, we all think the Thanksgiving with the turkey. So yeah.
I mean Dexter, dude.
Sure, and Pilgrims, but yeah.
And Pilgrims, yes, Dexter and Pilgrims.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I just realized something to go on the first watch. Yeah, they he mentioned that he had booby traps, and we saw one.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He has booby traps and literal booby traps.
Yep. Someone said, "Well, where's the Roger Rabbit when you need him?"
I know, right?
Nice booby trap. God, I love that movie. It's great. Anyway. Yeah, so let me ask you this. Here's an apropos question. So had Nettie stayed, she would not get her children back. Do you think what she would
that's a very, very, very good point. Yeah.
So do you think, again, like per the whole kind of the God element of the film, do you think it's kind of like symbolically once we walk through the flowers later on, do you think it's like we went through this journey with a purpose and it kind of
absolutely. I think that's very much what the film is trying to speak to is no matter how hard your life is, no matter what you have to endure, there is possibly a light on the other side. And, sometimes going through that hardship is exactly what's going to create that light. Yeah, at this point, I feel like Whoopi is just kind of like, she's very much coming alive, like this is, I do think the forward momentum of this movie very much is kind of pushed upon from her performance, you know what I mean? Like, it's because she really is just that compelling as far as, like, from the start of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yeah. And here the look's getting a little bit more mature. She's getting grown up. She's got the glasses.
Glasses, yeah, totally. The glasses absolutely sell the aging, I think.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. All this stuff right here where we're kind of going over. It's cool to see, but it just feels like, it's just stuff in the book. It's like, look at Nettie getting the good life for a bit. It is kind of sad when you think about it that, hey, she had to go all the way to Africa to kind of like, get away from all of her troubles. This is a cool idea that we paralleled Africa with like, the magic hour lighting of the farm.
And the magic hour is definitely kind of like where that immersion starts to come back into play, and where this film it really does just kind of like start to just rest in your head, and I'm sorry, but again I go back to that Ebert quote that I do think is so apropos of this movie just very much crafts an environment, it crafts a world, and you just live in it.
I really want to, again, it's kind of dawning on me now in the moment, so forgive me if I'm just bringing it up like right now again, but it's like the way we're editing this again. Well, I don't think we necessarily need it. I do respect that we have like when she's like we're indicating the stuff we're doing in Africa with like a bit of the set that Seeley's in right now. Like she's talking about the trees while she's outdoor by the trees, and we cut to the African trees. And then, we did it with the magic hour lighting. We're probably gonna do it with the church, I believe. And we're probably doing it right now with the rain or something. As we're like seeing rain kind of fall into place, and I think I'll bet that we're about to cut to something in relation to water.
Sure.
Let's see. We're seeing pots full of water, leaves, and crap. Well, it was like the sound of the water. I think it was what. Okay, there we go, sound. So we're talking about school here, and the whole like the fact that this is going to lead to the girls the daughters educating themselves similar to how Seeley learned to read, which is really adorable and cute, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So again, also it's kind of interesting that even in Africa, again, kind of like there's some similar kind of issues going on here. Only the men are getting educated.
No, sure. There is a little bit of the why would you teach a woman to read?
Yep. Like teaching women to read.
And I don't want to go too deep into the political rabbit hole here. I hope that anyone listening agrees with me. But, Dragon, let's just say women have it rough these days, and I am on their side.
Tiki, I'm going to make a bold statement here. I'm going to make a very political statement. I want you to get ready for this, okay?
Oh, God.
Women should be allowed the right to read. Okay, women should be allowed.
Wow.
Every woman. I want every.
We're coming out with the heavy-hitting progressive takes on this, so you want to be an Imagineer.
I don't care what anyone says. Women should be allowed to read. They should get library cards if they want them.
Women should be allowed to do whatever the hell they want and fuck people trying to control their bodies. All right, that's all I have to say about that. Moving on.
But again, they should be allowed to read first and foremost.
Indeed.
If anything, let's let them read. Let them read. The books are there for a reason.
All right, Dragon. All right, I get it.
Okay. Sorry to get on a soapbox there and kind of.
Oh God!
I just wanted to say it because
all right. Well, I'm trying to get on like an actual real world soapbox here. So.
Maybe not the place for it though, but okay.
Well, I feel like this is a very pro-feminist movie, so.
Yeah, fair. Whatever. All right.
I'm just saying it's a very important issue of our time. So.
Yeah. So again, church cut. Good church cut. Oh, look at that! Little cross.
This is some fantastic editing too. I think.
Did you see that little cross, man? You see how great that cross looked with the wall coming out of the other side? You could see through it like a little window. A little T-shaped window. Look at that. I know these guys are very scary and it's very ominous, but the fezzes are cool. I like the fezzes.
Yes, Dragon, the fezzes are cool.
You gotta admit, seriously, aren't fezzes cool though when you see them pop up?
Oh my God, dude.
I know it's a horrific scene, but the fezzes were a good choice.
No, I'm not going to acknowledge that. No, I'm not going to play your.
You don't like the fez. The fez is a no-go for you.
Not in this context, no.
But look, I'm not they could be wearing anything, but I'm saying, I don't know, if you're going for the uniform, the fez is a nice touch.
All right. I'm just saying these are not the people I want to be rooting for in any context.
I'm not rooting for them. I'm just saying they have nice hats.
Okay, fine. I
don't have to like them. I can like their hats.
Oh my God.
Okay, there's literally a smash cut for you right there. Like smashes her in the face, like just when literally at the end there, like we were caught up with the letters, and that's like the last straw for her there. And like look at the blood there and everything. It's like, okay, that's it. And there we go, folks. The most well edited sequence in the entire film. It's about to happen here, where she can just kind of sense it. I love like the symbolism of the red. We're building up the blood that we're thinking is about to be let from this man's neck, with like the blood on her face, the red nail polish, and then of course the tribal ceremony in which the kid's getting his face cut, which is going to be to the razor blade.
Oh man, yeah. And again, it's such a good bookend because this is literally like one of the last things we see young Seeley do.
Yep, and oh god, this is and just seeing again she was Yeah, I think we saw young Celia do it. Now we're seeing her like after everything she's been through, and you see what the intent in her eyes of like, I'm going to kill this fool this time. And this is the thing, though, Tika. Where ultimately we are the story and the right choice was made. But I mean, as an audience member, going with her for these struggles, like
I feel like as an audience member, if the letters weren't a part of the equation, we would absolutely be down with it.
Yeah,
but because the letters are a part of the equation, we're kind of just like, no, don't do it because you're so close to getting your happy ending.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's less
of course, we see the other road that Sophia went down.
Exactly. So I mean, those are the elements at play that are making you like want or not to do it. By the same token, it's like every fiber of your being is like, kill this mother.
Like satisfying, yeah.
Yeah, like kill him. He absolutely
full Sweeney Todd.
He absolutely deserves it. But again, going with the whole hardship leading to a reward of some kind, it does absolutely yeah, she was rewarded for not killing him, and the guy came around by seeing.
And then he's just like very much just like systematically gaslighting her in this moment too.
Yeah. But yeah, this he's basically egging her on, like, "Hey, is that razor sharp yet?" And just like yelling at her.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw this scene, I was just absolutely on the edge of my seat.
I thought, because I knew about that first scene, he probably wasn't going to get in that first scene. This scene, I did not know. Like, we brought it back. Oh God, I thought she was absolutely going to do it.
I was just like, I do not want to see this happen. I do not want to see her go down the same road that Sophia did. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. And I love that. I love the show.
He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do you, all right."
So that's the thing. I love what Whoopi Goldberg's doing this performance here, where you see like this woman who has lost everything. It's just like knowing what was taken away from her, and the fact that he took that from her. Of like, I literally have my family back, and you kept this from me, and you made my life a living hell, and I'm going to end you. And like she's getting a little confident. You're like, put your head back. It's like she's. Oh yeah. And it goes the storm.
That stumble, man. That stumble.
And the storm, by the way, too. Like,
I'm sure everyone in the theater, when they were first watching this, when she stumbles, are just like, "Oh
no!" Hey, look what we have here with the lighting. We have like the warmness of when we're in Africa, and we have like the cold, like the storm that's the blood. And we just cut to the eyes opening, and we're thinking, dead, bleeding out. Nope.
Oh man. Yeah, this is the same man that directed Jaws, and you can just tell.
It's Jaws with the razor blade.
It totally is. The razor blade is this movie's shark.
Yep. So I love that he, well, I think technically white people are the shark, because we don't see him that often until that one scene happens, but by the same
that is a fair point.
Because we don't, again, we build him up, and then we have like the big, okay. And
are white people the quote-unquote man of this movie?
Well, they're the white man.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so this is the big scene of the film, and this is the other Oscar moment for it's a trifecta. This is the third Oscar on Oprah's shelf. This is she improvised the scene. Yeah, she ad-libbed the whole thing, like rocking back and forth, and basically Spielberg just told her, like, say what your character would say in this scene. Let's just kind of go with it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like everything's just basically her kind of like loving the book. Basically, everything she says in the scene is like someone who loves the book, just kind of like saying what this character should say. Essentially. So I love, by the way, in that near death that he suffered, I love that he's too stupid to put it together. Just like how close he actually was, and it has to be spelled out to him at dinner here. Like this, over my dead body. Are you satisfied that way you want? Like, that's going to happen, man. That almost happened.
And I think you are right. I think this is an Easter dinner.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so yes, we have the big moment here where Celie is.
She's just like sitting there, just like things are running through her head. It's like she's about to speak up, and it's pretty powerful.
So I just love she lays it out in such an honest and unflappable way, like how awful he and this family is. Like calls out the kids were awful and everything. Like literally walked up to the house for the first time. Harpo threw a brick at her head. Blood. These kids suck because they had a terrible father. It was horse crap. He was absolutely horse crap. And I love that. So the fact that she was pushed to the brink of murder, she truly has nothing to fear from this man anymore. She's conquered her fear by almost killing him, so it gives her a lot of power in this scene. And you see the power kind of stripped away from him. He's kind of realizing that. So again, instead of just, I love what Danny Glover's doing, where he's not just playing anger of like, oh, she won't say that to me, where he's just being emasculated, and you're seeing how he feels about it.
No, he literally gets like he gets stripped of pretty much all his authority in this scene from there on out in the movie,
which was a great choice. Which is like not the it's not the conventional thing where it would have been. Why isn't he just attacking her in this scene? Trying to, where versus what we have.
He's not attacking her because she's literally attacking him with words.
Yes,
and he has no defense.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's like her just like calling him out and embarrassing him.
For man that's just like got in his way his whole life, and he's just like, like commanded people around his whole life, and this is like, it's so satisfying, Dragon. And again, can we talk about how ridiculous it is that Whoopi didn't win an Oscar for this?
I mean, I wonder if, to be fair, I know they're pretty much for all the other 10 awards, along with this being the 11th, all the other choices they made, like, why the heck didn't this win anything? But think about it. The only legit reason Whoopi wouldn't have gotten the Oscars is that she was a first-timer. But even how many times have first-timers gotten Oscars, can you recall?
There's definitely been a few times.
Right? Okay, so maybe it wasn't the wrong possibility then.
It's not unprecedented, but you're right, it is rare.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been impressive had she gotten it, though. Oh, anyways, we got to talk about this. Is kind of like Oprah's Mama Coco scene here, where basically it's kind of like Mama Coco from Coco, kind of waking up.
Oh, sure.
But again, a little less singing, more kind of like just like kind of a great kind of improvised monologue.
I
want to thank you, Miss Seeley.
I don't have enough bad luck to keep me laughing the rest of my life.
And again, it's her calling back.
Now, that is an inspirational quote right there, dude.
Yeah. I wonder if that family let her go for the holidays, or if they just died off.
I don't know. I would like to think that they all died in some terrible auto accident or something like that. Just imagine the mother tried driving again, and they were all in the car, and they all just got brutally killed.
Well, I like to think, it's basically her, and they didn't have any kids. So basically,
you're at night thinking that.
I'm fairly certain they didn't have any kids.
I don't even really care that much about the kids.
Well, that's what my point though, Tiki, is that I think because he was looking to take in the black kids, she didn't have any kids, and by that logic, it would be just her and her husband driving the thing.
Oh, then fuck them. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, hey, honey, let me drive you to where you're going.
Oh, God. Oh, yes. That is my headcanon. That is absolutely my headcanon.
We don't see him again in the movie, so let's...
Oh, man.
They have so much great...
Home now. Oh, Sophia, home now.
This is what I'm saying. So we have so much really good acting in this scene, and then we just have and my name's not Squeak.
Right? Yeah, I hear ya. She.
I want a line too. I'm a lady at the table.
It's kind of like the understudy in the play who goes a little bit too hard with the ensemble role.
Yeah, it's I'm going too.
Oh man, my name's Mayor Agnes.
Just ridiculous.
And honestly, I hate to say it, but the whole Mary who gives a damn thing is the first time I actually agree with the father.
Yeah.
I'm just shut up, woman. There's, it's good for you, but there's 3 more compelling character arcs in this room.
Yep. And again, he's looking at his. This is a really good framing, by the way. Him over her shoulder, is all the doubt just in the frame, everything that's important there. And you have Harpo in the middle, just kind of he doesn't know who to root for right now. He's kind of laughing nervously because the other guys are laughing at the table, but I don't think he agrees with them. Oh, and here we go. This is the thing where she just snaps and she's willing to. That's what I'm saying. The fear in the eyes. You're she's willing to kill him right here and now because she's been pushed to the brink. He took everything from her, and now here's the thing. So she curses him. Now here's the thing. You can read it both ways, and both ways work. Is that he's taking it to be an actual curse, and maybe that motivates his change. But otherwise, it's just a curse in terms of is everything not working out for him because essentially his wife and housemaid left him? Like that's the question. Is like that the curse, or is that just like him not having her around and when he needed her? That's why things. Is he that stupid, or was there a curse at play? Or at the very least, does he perceive it as a curse, and he's basically self-fulfilling?
Well, I honestly, I mean, I read it as just like he's a broken man after this, just specifically because he realizes the error of his ways, and there's like no way for him to make it up.
Yeah,
that's how I read it.
Right.
And which obviously like leads to the ending.
Yep. And again, I just love it here. Like the big defining line when she does like the curse pose, just to mess with him here. And he's like showing that she has the dominant hand. Like she raises a hand to him for the first time. He's caught off guard by this. She has that great line: "Everything you've done to me, already done to you." Basically, calling out like the cycle of violence. You're like, you can't do anything to me that hasn't been done to you already.
Right.
Yeah. I was loving it. Seriously, Danny Glover. This is why Brian Dennehy loves this movie. Look at the humanity in this guy here, even though he's kind of a monster.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do genuinely think it's one of the most impressive elements of the movie is the fact that Danny Glover is inherently pretty much the villain of the piece, and yet, I mean, I don't want to say he comes off as like one of the most heroic people, but like the ending of the movie would not happen without him at the very least. Like, yeah. I would say that the ultimate redemption arc is probably his. He's probably, he's basically like the long game of the redemption arc in this movie.
And again, you could look at it as, again, the hard life that with the cards that she was dealt. He was kind of like maybe like depending on how you want to read this, like a symbol of God's firm hand, and that I'm going to put you through a lot of hardship in the form of this guy, but it will eventually give you your kids and reunite them with you. Okay, this is a really good directing choice, by the way. That the girl who's chasing the train, I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is Nettie. And then we reveal once she grabs the coins and everything, it's like no, it's the girl she hallucinated to be Nettie, but it's it's a little it's chasing the fancy train, hoping to get chocolates thrown out. Which I wonder if that was a practice they did back then. I don't know.
I gotta think so. It feels like something that was in the book.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Is like seeing.
I mean, I don't know for a fact, but it just it's just very specific. You know what I mean?
No, it's either a kid chasing a train or a kid chasing a train for chocolate.
Yeah, by the way, Tennessee, fucking terrible state for black people. Just saying.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, so are a lot of places.
Like, even today, just saying. I fucking hated being in Tennessee.
All right.
I'm sure they're not all inbred racist, but I met a fair.
Can we focus on the gold coins for a second, please? Can we?
Okay, fine. We'll focus on the chocolate coins instead of the terrible state that we just entered.
Yes. There's as nice as she's thinking of her sister, and like, look at the little chocolate coin. Yeah, one of the few episodes of Bob's Burgers that I did see did take place on train, and there was like a chocolate subplot. So I wonder if the train chocolate thing is like a thing that's maybe like per like the tradition or something, like a chocolate car or something.
Well, I mean, there is a sweets car on most trains back in the day. Harry Potter kind of lifted that, so yeah, I could see that.
All right. Yeah. She's on a healing path now. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole like last 20 minutes or so of this movie is pretty much just super uplifting, I think.
Yep. Oh, but really sweet. I just noticed this transition. Now when we transition to 37, we're going from the rails to the wheels. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. And this movie does basically have like a 40-year time period, so it is like I would say by all intents and purposes it is an epic.
Yeah. Look how janky the mailbox is now.
I love how that mailbox is almost like a character in the movie.
Yeah, well, again, it's name on it, so it's representative of him, because again, the big plot point about the mail, so it is rather important. Now it's all
right.
Secrets to hide anymore, and he's just kind of getting letters. And you just let the farm fall to pieces. And I think it's really brilliant writing here, where the father comes back and his advice essentially is like the cycle goes on, and he's learned absolutely nothing. But our guy has learned. So John, Albert has learned something at this point when his
Yeah.
father, like says this incredibly stupid thing to him, like, you know what you need to get married and have it. Basically, like, let's do it all over again. You gotta find a girl and she'll fix all this for you.
Just let the fucking cycle of abuse continue. That's exactly what he needs. That's exactly what's going to get him out of his funk.
Yeah, and I love the.
How Stella Got Her Groove Back, another memorable Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, just throwing it out there. Go ahead.
That's not wrong, I guess, but yeah, it's the. Anyway, what was I going with? Oh, right. The yeah, it's kind of it's also like kind of the old West standard is probably no longer in practice in 37. Like, no, you can't, like, an old man can't really marry a 14-year-old girl. So I hope not.
Well, yeah, I would say so at that point. Yeah, I would hope
37. So, like, his was the thing. Like, you got to find yourself a young girl. Like, no, he doesn't. He really shouldn't.
Right. Also, the fact that he's like very much an old man himself. Like, yeah.
Who would want this guy? Look at him. He's a dog. Look at me, like, this isn't the dapper Danny Glover from before. He's got a beard and he's all passing out drunk. He's like a washboard.
Well, again, it's a fantastic character transformation, but unlike all the other characters, he literally has no one to blame but himself for this, for the state he finds himself in, and I think that's very poignant.
Yeah. Random Danny Glover tangent.
Oh God, okay.
Just seeing Danny Glover in this movie makes you want to watch that Kevin Kline movie that he's in.
Which one?
I'm blanking on the name, but essentially he
is it a new one?
No, it's an old one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's from the 90s. Essentially, I forget what it's called. Kevin Kline breaks down in a black neighborhood, and a black tow truck driver helps him out. And they become buddies.
Okay, that does sound like a good premise.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I gotta go back. It's been ages since I've watched it again. I kind of want to go back to it if I can find it, but unfortunately, every time I want to get a good Kevin Kline movie, it's never streaming.
Okay, again, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to once again just like go over the atmosphere in this movie because this movie is very literally dripping in atmosphere and I fucking love it.
Yeah, it is dripping in atmosphere.
The bar at night in the rain, Dragon. I mean, God, can it get more atmosphere? Like, you can just smell the rain in this scene. You know what I mean?
Yep, that looks great.
And I love that Sophia and Harpo end up running the bar together. That just feels fucking perfect from a character arc point of view.
Yeah, like, we don't know where they are in their relationship, but it seems like they made a kind of a reparation.
At the very least, they're happy professional partners. At the very least,
like they're reunited in some way, shape, or form.
Uh-huh.
I love how he's at this moment shows that he is changing for the better slowly but surely here, where he's like, it's good to see you two together compared to him being against the marriage in the first place.
Right. And I love how it's almost like a subtle little gesture that kind of catches Harpo off guard almost.
Yeah. Like,
one could say it might be like one of the first times that his father has actually like opened up to Harpo in this kind of way.
And I like that Harpo picks Sophia over his father here, where he's like, no, he'll be fine. Like, basically, what happens now, he's kind of brought it on himself. He'll either get over this or he won't.
Totally.
Okay, so now we have, again, kind of the closing the loop on things here. Now, okay, here's something I should bring about the movie. So, I don't know how you feel about this. When I rewatch the movie, and we kill off the father who abused her and basically, was the father of her children, I feel like we kind of lucked out with something we kind of tried to do a tidy wrap up on one element of the movie so we can have a happier ending where it's like, yeah, her, he was, he wasn't her actual father. So we're not having inbred children in the reunion later on.
Yeah, true.
It does feel like that's a bit of a tidy bow, but I'm glad that she was.
I wonder if that was the case in the book.
I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a change from the book. I don't know. It'd be interesting to do, but yeah.
I feel like it could have been a change just to kind of soften the blow a little bit.
I mean, look, but I'm not complaining about it because it makes the relationship is all creepy as is. So making her not a
sure.
I'm just saying it's like, okay, yeah. So he wasn't the father of your children. Well, technically, your father wasn't the father of your children, and hey, you have land now. Yeah. It's like, look, it's not money, but it's land.
Yeah, totally.
So now, again, it's going full circle back to the house where it all started. So, like back where she and Nettie played, and that's essentially where they're going to live. So that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, God. A little bit of Spielberg levity right here.
Yeah. By the way,
top of me.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's Levy. I think it's just kind of dark. Of like he died in the saddle.
It's dark. It's dark humor, Dragon. It is dark comedy.
Really?
That is dark comedy right there.
I don't know if that's dark.
Oh, you cannot tell me that's not dark comedy.
I can very easily tell you that's not dark comedy, man. That's like
that is dark comedy, dude. That is absolutely dark comedy.
No, that's he's probably violating me, and then he died.
Okay, fair on the violation point. Fair.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Put it that way.
That's how I read it. It's like the tragedy of she's kind of covering her child's ears like on top of me.
All right.
Yeah. Well, look at this. Look at the light. Like she puts the glasses on. Oh, it's the house, and she's doing the chat. That's a Whoopi Goldberg stand-up thing. I'm sure she's doing like the cha-cha-cha. This is nice, folks. Pants. This is a delightful idea. It's like, hey, I make pants now.
It is, yeah.
It's pants for everybody. And again, it's a simple idea. Women wearing pants now, and women are wearing. We transitioned away from the thing.
Oh my god! Just okay. This is God. It makes me so happy.
Can we use some words other than just happy? Like, what do you like about it?
No, I'm sorry. It's just like it's so cathartic. It's so fucking cathartic. Just just seeing the just seeing the transformation here.
Yeah.
Also, I think I might be a little bit behind you because the thing I was acknowledging is so happy was like Whoopi Goldberg's reaction to the house.
Yeah, I was talking when I mentioned the cha-cha-cha. That was the happy dance. Yeah.
Okay, so I do think, unfortunately, I am a little bit behind you, but
right now we're doing that ambiguous shot where he's outside the door, like waving at her, and they disappear.
Right? Yeah, I think I might be like 10 seconds behind you, but we're so close to the ending. Yeah. We'll just kind of work with it.
Okay. So again, we're kind of looming into a kind of a resolution here with the whole with the Albert of it all here.
It's kind of crazy just kind of being in this room with with these three characters who have all just changed so dramatically over the course of these 40 years. Dragon, in a lot of ways, this movie doesn't feel like a book; it feels like a play to me. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I get from the structure of it. Does that make sense?
I mean, the arcs do play like a play for sure. Yeah. Also, 30 years I think because it's 37.
I would also argue that this movie has a 5-act structure.
Okay. Well, before you get into that, you're talking about we're doing the color purple thing right now. Like
yes, of course.
So the thing, we're walking through the field again. I echo my sentiments earlier about
it's literally 2 hours and 17 minutes until we get the color purple title reveal.
Exactly, and we say it, and we show it. Basically, again, it's
that is a long fucking con, Spielberg.
Again, it's like color purple being.
I wonder if Spielberg had a bet with his editors, like, all right, how long can I go without revealing what the title means?
Yeah, I mean, it's we open with we show the color purple and then we say the color purple. So that's the thing. So I think the moral ultimately is, so again, the color purple signifies again abuse, like kind of hardship, bruising, and it's also I think dulled passion, tiredness. Again, like the sun going down. It's like the red passion, like the color red, which is passion and love and lust and all that sort of like dulled. Anyway, so I think the moral of the story that we get from the color purple namesake is notice the small mirror, because we're mentioning like God be ticked off of you and notice like the purple flowers, like notice the small miracles, and also purple being like he wants those details to be loved, much like Seeley wants to be loved.
Sure.
So now we're having
scene. What do you make of the gospel scene?
So yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, the gospel scene is the big catharsis for Shug Avery. This is the big resolution for her and her father. Where basically, it's like her father sees that what she does is beautiful and that she has changed. Things have changed, and basically, her singing the same song that they're singing kind of brings things back to him. And I think
from an editing and cinematography point of view, this is a very well done Spielberg moment.
I think what's really good about this too is the fact that these locations are in such proximity to each other, they can hear each other, and that.
You can literally feel it. Yeah, it makes sense. Like it is an over-the-top movie moment, but it makes sense that it could happen.
Yeah, and it does play that again. This is like the twain meeting. This is the music intersecting, showing that there is some common ground there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but again, I love the atmosphere. I love the little boats. I love the old Coca-Cola logos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The jazz band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep harping on it, but it's just this movie is just so rich with just in the setting.
If memory serves, what we do here is while the song's going on, we then kind of start intercutting the character arc in Albert, where he comes around and he kind of has his moment.
We do, yeah.
Now again, I think it's implied that I don't think he's actually hearing it, but I think it's just showing him like kind of coming to in solace right now. But
I feel like it's symbolically like the song's all about coming to the Lord and and he's kind of like coming to his ultimate ultimate penance.
Mm-hmm. Of just I'm going to do at least one good thing after all the bad things.
Right.
Basically, I think whether or not it just took him time to realize whether thinking it's a curse or just kind of living in squalor and suffering.
I don't ever think he actually thinks it's a curse, Dragon. I really do think it's.
He is kind of dumb though.
Guilt and self-pity that kind of wrecked his life.
I mean, Tiki, I think it plays either way because I think he is kind of stupid enough that he would believe in the curse.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The movie emphasizes the curse element enough.
I mean, the man poured kerosene on a stove. I don't know. It's
That's fair. That's fair.
Very colorful. I like look at the kind of the yellow we're working into the scene on there. What Shug's wearing.
Again, it's a total movie moment, right? This is a total fucking movie moment, but it plays so well.
Yeah. And again, the whole he's trying thing absolutely paralleling with Albert. That plays too. And again, it's honestly all the things. That's what I'm saying. The scene kind of wins me over the more I kind of look at it too. I mean, I wasn't against it or anything. I'm saying I'm kind of liking it a little bit more here, seeing the significance of that, and also we're mentioning God and the whole trying and everything, and then
right.
Father honestly looking at her for the first time in years have passed since he's kind of seen her last and seeing she's turned things around. He's taken his glasses off, seeing she's actually become a nice young woman. Yeah. Look at I'm just marveling. Look at young Larry Fishburne. Look at him. Look at his hair and the mustache, and he's a dapper looking chap.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Just how great an actor is Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Yes, Dragon. Lawrence Fishburne is a great actor.
Well, look, it doesn't hurt to say it now and again.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
We gotta appreciate the purple flowers now and again. Let's appreciate the
Lawrence Fishburne is a purple flower in this movie. He's kind of in the background, but damn it, he's there. And he'll get sad if you don't notice him.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, the purple flowers right there. Yeah, we just had a moment of it's just like no, Sophia, no, we give him a nice little sound.
Now
we'd be utterly just wrecked in bullet-ridden mailbox.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Again, so this is where he kind of gets the idea, okay, I can finally do something good here. Yep.
I love how the last 30 minutes of this movie is just unapologetically happy.
Yeah. Which again, balance. That's what I'm saying. It kind of balances out really well from where
I do too. Yeah.
It starts off so just dark and sad and just it's depressing.
That's kind of why I prefer this to something like Schindler's List. I'm not going to take away the impact of Schindler's List, of course, but I could easily see myself watching this way easier than I could Schindler's List. On
I admit though, Schindler's List does end kind of inspirational though, and look at all the people he saved, but it doesn't absolve them. But it's really beautiful. I don't know.
Dragon, I'm just saying, Schindler's List is it is a journey, man. It is an odyssey. Whereas this is just kind of a. It's an epic, but it's an epic that has a lot more levity to it. I don't know.
I love that's the thing, because this is also a good character study, but I feel this is, I don't know, it's kind of like an arc, I don't know, I don't want to get into semantics over arc versus character study, because they're kind of the same thing, but, it's I don't know, it's something like, Oscar Schindler's Journey really fascinates me, where you're going to have that, and you see Seeley's Journey also is really great as well. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to compare them because again they're very different things. But again, you don't get a Schindler's List without this. So very key. So
well, one thing's for sure: this movie's better than Lincoln.
Yeah.
We can agree on that.
That we can.
I like Lincoln, but
yeah, Lincoln does not tidy up the end like this.
No, definitely not.
And then he died. Yep, should have just left it ambiguous, but no, we gotta drag it out. Man is dying. Very sad. Put him on the penny. Also, I look like she's does it look like she's wearing purple in this scene to you? Or is it like a
yeah, she is. Yeah.
Well, I know her sister's wearing purple, and that's
ultimate character visual, like symbolic transformation, I think.
Yeah. And okay, this is utterly just fantastic and just super uplifting here. You know that Albert is just the reunion after all these years, and then how can it get any better? They're her babies, the ones that she thought had been dead or gone.
Dragon, Adam's reaction to seeing her absolutely fucking breaks me. It's one of the most emotional moments I've ever experienced watching any movie.
Oh god, seeing Nettie.
And then Nettie translating for him. Oh my god.
Yeah. Again, the purple coloring is a very good choice.
It's just the fact that this woman has gone through literally like 40 years of hardship. And
30.
What?
30.
It's 30? Oh, my bad.
I know it's definitely not 40 because I'm pretty sure we're not even in the 40s.
Okay, you're right. But still, 30 years. That's still a big number. Oh, yeah. God. Nay! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Dragon, I'm just watching this with subtitles right now, and it's so uplifting.
Oh, so am I. Look at Goldberg's performance here, just like this. Like he goes choose from Nettie to like then taking it like Nettie. It's like it's like the acting exercise. You say the same thing a couple times, and you
totally, yeah.
And there we go. Here we go. Now we're back.
Oh God! Oh, I am not prepared to see Adam.
And remember, Adam was the one that she thought was dead. Or possibly had the good chance of not me. This is your son, Adam. This is Mama. Oh.
Dragon, when I watched this last, I watched it a couple times. When I watched this last night for the second time and it got to Adam, I was like, forget it. My face was literally drowning in tears, dude.
Yep, the day of his dreams. He's never held his mother in his life. The first time he's done
Oh God. Oh my God.
His whole lifetime, he never felt the touch of his mother.
Mama!
And of course, and this is the one that she'd been looking for in every baby she ever came across. It's Olivia. Oh. And look how happy she is. Like, oh God. Oh
man. Yeah, this is why this movie's in my top 5 Spielberg movies, man. I make no bones about it. This is like the whole movie is like very much drenched in atmosphere, but this ending is just like it is one of the most cathartic things I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're meeting like Adam's wife here too.
Oh my God.
Oh, and her calling her mama too.
I know. Oh my God.
Yep, and this is great though. When Shug,
I love this. Yeah.
Shug having always formed the relationship with Albert, more of like just like okay, well, I need entertainment.
Just like a silent acknowledgement. It's a perfect end to his character.
And he shouldn't get a parade. He shouldn't. But give him like that's his and she knows it, but we don't really need to do.
He doesn't get a break, but he does get a redemption.
Yes, yeah. There is again. It's a very that's the thing that fascinates me most about this movie, that we earned like this redemption in this character despite how awful he was, and like we did it really well. And, like the most we're gonna
right at the tail end of the film,
like he kind of rides off into the sunset, but we don't give him the money shot. Like he happens just walks.
Literally, that's like the last moment of the film before the shot that leads us into the credits.
Exactly, like he kind of walks by on his horse, which is how he entered her life. By the way, he was on horseback. So he's kind of like, well, he's with the horse. He's kind of walking by, or the mule or whatever, and they're going full circle. They're in the field. They're playing a little patty cake thing.
All right, well, hot damn, Dragon, this movie's a masterpiece.
It's great, and who knew the color purple that good? It was great.
I know, right? I mean, honestly, I feel like all the the Always and the Emperor, the Sons of the World, like they're great. They're great movies, but this is Spielberg, like in absolute top form, man. I'm kind of gushing about this movie. I'm kind of blown away by this movie. I will admit this was kind of like, I was excited about it. Certainly, out of all the Spielberg month stuff we had this month, it was the one I was most looking forward to. But I was not expecting it to just really just absolutely floor me the way it did, Dragon. I'm almost kind of ashamed that I haven't seen this movie before now, because this is just this is some top tier shit, man. This is like, it's so good it might be like in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. Like, it's that fucking impactful for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just again, I don't mean to just keep repeating the same point here, but ultimately it's the fact that this is just a hugely underrated and important film that I think, just because of Spielberg's career and how much it took off over the years, I think we do forget kind of the unsung heroes here. And I'm sure in the tomes of history that The Color Purple does get a respect, but I'm just saying, obviously in our circles, we just kind of, I think like the consensus, I think we kind of overlook it, perhaps. I don't know. It's just the fact that it's so unlike all the other.
I feel like people either gravitate towards the fantastical Spielberg, the E.T.s and Jurassic Parks and Jaws of the world, or the dramatic, like the Private Ryans or Schindler's Lists. And the reason I love this movie as much as I do is it's a perfect fucking Venn diagram between those two.
Yeah, and that's it's just like it's the unsung Spielberg film. It's the one that's it's not the it's not the iconic tomes of Hollywood, but it's a very strong pillar of Hollywood once you know about it. And again, it did make careers, it did like a lot of important things, and it just kind of it's kind of good to give it praise, good to give it its due.
I also feel like it's kind of a shame we didn't talk about this during Black History Month.
Well, to be fair, Tiki, it's impossible because we do Spielberg Month in June. So.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying this would be a good Black History Month selection.
Now, actually, what we should have done, if we were smart, man, we should have done it on. I don't know how. This is embarrassing to say. I don't remember how long we've had this holiday, but at least that was
Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth. We could have done.
Well, the thing is, I was in Utah on Juneteenth.
Yeah, well, I'm saying in general, if we had done it years back, how long has Juneteenth been around? Like, is it like
only a couple years officially?
That's what I thought, right? It is just been a couple of years, so yeah. It wasn't crazy. Oh god, have I just been included for you about Juneteenth?
Dragon, if my Utah trip was not a factor, I think we absolutely would have made a point to do it on Juneteenth. Yeah, I would like to think.
Yeah, but again, seriously though, Color Purple, big pleasant surprise of a Spielberg film. It was good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, that's it. Outro time.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay tuned until next time as we tackle another subject in the well-shot, wondrous, and whimsical world of Steven Spielberg on yet another thrilling installment of Spielberg Month. I want the purple stuff.